You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Let's get spooky. You found Earth Station Boo, where horror lives, legends linger, and laughs are always waiting. Stay with us. You know you're dying to listen. And welcome to the Spooky and Kooky podcast of Earth Station Boo, where we talk all things horror. Introducing our horror college hosts with the mosty most. We've got our kick-ass Karen.
What up, my horrorholics?
I am your terrifying T. And today we got two amazing guests. Both are amazing streamers on Twitch. We have our friend Bella Rose.
Hi.
And we have our friend Drake the Snake.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking about the history of horror video games. So let's get spooky.
Ready to explore the DC universe? Join hosts Drew Leiter and Cletus Jacobs on the Legends of the DCU podcast as they review the latest adventures from both the Absolute Universe and the main DC Comics line. They will also be discussing the highly anticipated Supergirl movie and the upcoming Lanterns television series, bringing you news, reviews, and plenty of fan conversation along the way. Subscribe to Legends of the DCU podcast today, because every legend has a story.
Are you a horrorholic? Then take your horror obsession beyond the podcast. Check out Earth Station Boo's merch store for killer designs to let the world know that you live for the scares. You can also join our Discord and hang out with fellow little ghouls, talk monsters, movies, and midnight madness. And if you want to support the show directly, visit our throne to keep the screams and laughs coming. Find everything in our link tree, and remember, stay spooky. So we've got two amazing people. They're good friends of mine. I hang out with them in Discord VC quite a bit. I actually moderate for Bella Rose, and I hang out in Drake streams all the time. So would love for you two to both just kind of introduce yourself to our fellow horrorholics, our lovely little listeners. Bella, you get to go first.
I was just going to say gentlemen first.
Oh.
Okay. Realistically, I'm just going to give the same spiel that I give all the time when somebody asks about me. My name is Bella Rose. On everything, I'm Bella Rose 0810. And I stream everything from horror to Hogwarts, Legos to Destiny, and everything in between. I've been a variety streamer for almost 5 years now. November will be 5 years. And yeah, it's my life.
Yeah. Drake, how about you?
Hello, I am Drake the Snake on everything. A lot like Bella, I'm a variety streamer. I kind of just do whatever I want. I've been really into doing cosplays with streams, and a lot more lately it's been like friend swap with a couple of good friends of mine. And that's led to me having a more consistent schedule when I can base it off someone else. Mm-hmm. We find our ways. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to talk about horror games because they've been a big part of my come up streaming and adventure. Like I didn't start playing horror games until I started streaming because I just couldn't bring myself to do it by myself. I needed my emotional support chat, so I'm excited to be here.
Rock on. Okay, so we're just going to kind of go over some like key things to know about horror history. One of the biggest things is that horror video games, unlike most others, is actually not first differentiated by the gameplay type, but by the narrative of the visual representation or presentation for it. So it's horror game first, then it's RPG or, something along those lines. But there are some subgenres of horror. Karen, do you want to tell what the subgenres are?
I mean, let's see. We have survival of the fittest. We have action-packed. We have psychological jump scares. And for some of the, examples that they are, when it comes to survival, I usually think of like, zombie survival, like Silent Hill, Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame still scares me to this day. Mm-hmm. But I will play it because hell yeah. Then you have your action, which back in the day, my favorite arcade game was House of the Dead. Me and my brother would play that. Like go to the arcade and be playing House of the Dead all the time. Then you have your psychological horror like Silent Hill. Mm-hmm. That scared me. That still scares me to this day. I still can't get past like, a certain section without remembering my roommate screaming at me, and I'm screaming at her like, why are you screaming? And we're sitting there both screaming at each other. Then you have your like jump scares, which it's kind of tamed me because I don't think a lot of jump scares get to me. You have your Poppy Playtime, which came from FNAF. And if you talk with my niece about FNAF, she'll talk your ear off. Let's not, listen, I'm not going to bring her down here because she will come down here and be like, let me tell you about this game.
We
and
need
I'm like,
the lore
oh, no.
expert here.
Yeah, we need a lore expert. Can she like give us memos?
Believe me, jump scares don't get us either. Yeah.
I have no idea what
Never,
you're talking
dude.
about. I did not just scream bloody murder at a cat.
What color was the cat?
It was a black cat.
Wow.
Wow.
It came out of nowhere. I wanted to pet
So she's
it, but
cat
instead
racist. That's what it is.
It jumped out at me. Okay, that's its fault, not mine. Okay, you want me to love you? Don't jump at my face.
I mean, it was like, ha! Batman.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then you have like this new phenomenon that's come out. Like I've never seen this. It's like, it's kind of a reversal where you play the main character to kill everybody. And I think that they came out with a Friday the 13th movie, and they're now coming out with Hellraiser.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight is super big right now.
I want to do that
Halloween
one.
is doing one too.
And I know a lot of games are implementing like sorts of stuff like that. Like I would throw the games that have mimics also in the mix as that. So like you're relying on them to like be your friend, and all of a sudden they're becoming a monster and chasing you down.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like you did in that pirate game?
No, I'm just a monster. That was just me actually chasing.
Okay. Facts.
Yep. Obviously, Haunted House is one of like the earliest ones back in the early 1970s. I want to say 1972. But you have other things like Space Invaders. There were Nostromo. There was stuff that was inspired by the Alien film. You also have Sega's Monster Bash that kind of took on a whole bunch of the classic stuff. Capcom had quite a few different games, between Ghosts and Goblins to Resident Evil and all sorts of stuff. You have Phantasmagoria in 1995, which was one of the first like psychological things. You got Sweet Home, which was the precursor to actually Resident Evil back in 1989. You have Alone in the Dark. Obviously, there's The House of the Dead. There's Silent Hill. There's all sorts of stuff. And there's obviously been like much like the horror movie genre, there have been reinventions and revolutions and renewing of the genre over and over again, because the biggest thing about horror is keeping you on your toes. You can't be on your toes if you are seeing the same thing over and over and over again. But in the early 2010s is when we start really getting a huge growth in indie games. And that's where I think that's what's going to keep horror video games alive. Obviously, you've seen a resurgence from things like creepypasta games where you have like Slender Man and like all that kind of stuff.
Don't even get me started on Slender Man.
the weird Sonic.ex one.
Yeah. Yes. But then you guys also have things like Outlast or, even Five Nights at Freddy's, which kind of changed how people interact with the games. And the fact that everything is online now, you get to actually see quite a bit of stuff. But the early 2020s, indie horror games kind of found a new base, which was because of Steam and Epic and being able to stream where you didn't have to go and buy the physical copy. And so stores didn't have to hold space for them. And so you got a whole new variety of stuff, different types of art styles, 3D graphics, pixel art, the whole gamut.
Not to mention, when you used to have to go to the store and say back then, a lot of us were younger, and you had to get parents' permission to buy something like that. And now, as we grew up and evolved, and started getting our own money and stuff like that, we can now go back and play those and buy new horror games for ourselves when maybe our parents wouldn't have let us play games like that. Like, this is too boy, you can't do that. So I think that led to another like big boom in it.
Yeah, I remember her going to Blockbuster and trying to rent horror video games and stuff, and having them be like, "You're too young, you can't do that."
Yep.
Like, listen, I'm just gonna have my mom come back and do it anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, like my parents didn't care, especially I had my brother with me, and it was like, my brother didn't even care either. It's like, you want to play it? Okay.
Says the woman who at 4 years old was watching horror movies with her mom. So
train them young and train them right. Listen, both my kids watch a lot of horror movies when it comes to things, and now my kid will sit there, my 15-year-old will sit there and explain to people, my background before streaming and video games and stuff includes working as a special effects person. So my 15-year-old will be like, so this is how they make that, and this is how this happens, and that's how that happens. And she's explaining the entire horror movie, and she's not scared because she knows how everything's made. So
yeah. For you all, what is your earliest memory of a horror video game, and how do you think it shaped you as a horror fan?
I was thinking about this. Mine wasn't even technically a horror game. I wouldn't consider it, but my earliest memory of like being so scared that I couldn't finish a game sitting in a room by myself was BioShock, the original BioShock.
Yeah.
There's something about just underwater, and then you go into that first room where you meet the big dads for the first time, and they're just scraping across the ground, and you hear like the little girl laugh next to her, and I was just like, you know what? I can't fucking do this. I'm just gonna turn this off. I can't. Like I said, it was something about when I started streaming that I actually started playing horror games for real. But another one.
What was the first horror game that you streamed?
Phasmophobia.
Okay.
And I was so scared of horror games at that point that it was a sub goal for me to stream it.
Okay.
Regrettably, it was at the end of a 26-hour stream. So it was the worst time to possibly do it.
Please tell me that
the best time.
Yeah. But if we're saying like actual horror game that I remember playing first was Until Dawn was a really good one. But back when it came out for like PlayStation 3, I think, something like that. I know it's been out for a while, but that's the first one where I was like, I finished, I sat down, I was like, I'm actually enjoying myself here.
There you go. Bella, how about you?
Well, having a background in special effects, like I've been playing games that technically would have been considered horror the entire time and didn't even realize it because I don't really see any of that stuff. Like I was debating with somebody earlier when they were talking about how, they would consider The Last of Us a horror game. And it's not that I don't think that it has horror themes because you're fighting zombies, but I don't consider that a horror game. I consider it a survival game. So but that's, everybody's opinion on what is and isn't horror is different for each person, right?
Yeah.
So games that I didn't even realize that would have technically been considered horror games, I was playing the whole time anyway. I played the original Silent Hill a bazillion years ago on the PlayStation. When I started streaming, I was originally part of a duo when we were playing a first-person shooter. But then when I went solo almost 5 years ago, I went solo and started playing a horror game that I had to have my next door neighbor come sit with me in the living room in the dark. And she would look up the walkthrough and kind of tell me where to go if I started to get too scared and lost. And to this day, I cannot replay it because it messes with you too much and it gets underneath my skin and it's visage. And I don't know if we've ever seen anybody play that or watch that. That game messes with you hardcore. What messes with you even more is one of the characters looks identical to my husband. Like the character is a war veteran and my husband is a war veteran. They have the same haircut, the same body builds. Like it is literally like they took my husband and put him in and I just, no, thank you.
Game, your husband got a cool game. My lookalike is just in fucking baby steps.
I know, right? And then there's also, so I can't replay that at night. I could probably replay it during the day, but I can't replay it at night. The other game that I cannot get through is Slenderman. I literally cannot get through the first section of Slenderman. I have tried, and every single time I end up in a panic attack. Can't do it. So I won't. Nope, I'm good. Like most other stuff doesn't really. I mean, I get jump scared, right? But I don't. Most of the other games don't bother me. I've been playing them for so long and working in that industry before, like those things don't really get under my skin, except for those two that I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like I'm currently replaying through them too, through other horror games currently. Yeah. So,
I mean, Karen and I, we both have said, it's like, this movie, we don't find it scary. However, you might find it scary because we're demented and we watch nothing but horror movies, and so nothing scares us anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I get jump scared just like anybody else does if something catches me off guard, right? So like today I'm replaying through the Dark Pictures Anthology series, which I've already played a few times. So I kind of know it's one of those choice-based horror games, right? So you're given a story. That the one that we're currently playing right now is Little Hope. So it takes place around the Salem witch trials, and you're kind of going back and forth through like history and time, and you know, there's the music and the jump scares and the stuff. And like, I was completely caught off guard because here I am trying to hit buttons to make sure that the character is doing something on cue, and I'm focusing on that, not paying attention. I mess that up, and a cat out of absolutely nowhere comes and attacks my face. And I'm like, nope, I'm done. Like, I can't, no.
The scream she screamed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That got clipped. That got clipped a few times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've kind of been honestly, I can't remember what the first one would have been because I've been playing them for so long. I think the OG Silent Hill on like the original PlayStation probably would have counted, but I've been all over playing them.
Yeah. Karen, what about you?
I didn't really think of it as a horror video game. I just thought it as like a role-playing game. I enjoyed playing it even to this day, even though the graphics are kind of crappy. But you know, I like playing old games like Castlevania. I still like playing the old one, because Castlevania was the shit. But my recent memory of playing horror games was House of the Dead and House of the Dead 2 with my brother at the arcade, spending lots of money that I shouldn't be spending, but it was his money. So
that's the girl math is free.
I mean,
it's like
if you had fun with that, you should try where I work now. There's one near you. It's called Sandbox VR. We have Deadwood games, which are basically VR, just House of the Dead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of
So like sometimes like if he didn't want to play with me, he was like, here's money, go play. And so half the time I'll be, doing House of the Dead. And I remember playing, and like I said, in high school was Silent Hill. Always like when I get to that one part, I hear my roommate screaming and I'm like screaming too. I'm like, wait a minute, she's no longer here with me. Why am I screaming? And it's because it's like those core memories that sit with you. But I would have to say, like, one of my favorite games that I got to play and finish besides Fatal Frame was called Obscure, because it was just I was still a young Karen when it came out. Just graduated college, almost like a few years away from high school. And I played it and I was like, oh, this is such a fun game, that I even made it into like a tabletop version. And I still, to this day, I still enjoy Obscure. I don't have my copy anymore. I don't know what happened to it. I guess with several moves, it's somewhere. But if I could ever find another copy, I'd rather have a hard copy, because what's happening with PlayStation 5 is not cool.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a hard copy.
Xbox also. Yeah, they're taking away the disc drive too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hard copies, guys.
Physical media, it's important.
Physical media is something that is definitely starting to go away, unfortunately.
Yeah, physical media. But yeah, like ones that will scare me, like I cannot play like at night, is Fatal Frame. I can't. It has to be like during the day. All the shades up. My animals in the house with me to protect me from whatever. I have 2 black cats.
He's just staring at Bella, waiting on her to say something about it.
So what are you going to say? You're going to throw them in my face?
Yeah, what are you gonna do, man?
Listen, I'm all for any shade and size of cats, but don't come running at my face.
Was it going to eat your face? Did it have, fangs out and everything?
Oh yeah, it was coming to eat me. It was bad. It was scary. We can send you the clip after. There is a clip that was taken of it. It's not fun.
Just a reminder out there: feed your cats, and they won't try to eat you.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair thing. I think my earliest horror video game would have been in the arcade as well. Couldn't tell you what the name of it was. I just know that it was spooky and kooky, and I liked it. But there's been like a few other games that like I've watched people play, or I've had a chance to like monkey around with that. I'm like, I love these games. I cannot wait till I can get a computer to be able to play those games, because they look like a lot of fun.
We need to start a GoFundMe for you to get a PC.
Yeah,
Not a PC. It has to be a laptop with my current lifestyle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We have to get you. We have to start a GoFundMe to get you a gaming laptop.
at the very least, a Stream Deck.
Right?
A Steam Deck.
Yeah, I'd be totally down for a Steam Deck. Okay. Horror in gaming draws on the same wells that horror in film and in literature do.
Mhm.
But the interactivity changes everything. Why do you think putting a player in the haunted house instead of just watching it hits differently?
Putting somebody inside it kind of messes with your head more, right?
Mhm.
So like when you look at, comparing it to the history of like horror movies, right? When you look at a movie from the outside perspective, like, yeah, things can get scary. They get jumpy, whatever, you have things from like Scream and, whatnot. And like, you're on the edge of your seat. But then when you bring in the, found footage stuff, and it's now in your brain, people were getting way more scared of certain things that they probably shouldn't be really scared of. Right?
Mhm.
So when you're looking at horror games, there's a difference between the ones that just scary things happen, right? So like The Last of Us, for example, right? Like I said, I never really would have considered it horror, but it is horror, right? You're fighting against dead demon things, right?
Yeah, it's a horror game.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't have thought of it that way because, I'm not scared of that, right? Like I'm just trying to survive, right? But then when you look at something like the Dark Pictures anthology, right? And I'm having to make a decision that'll either I'll be alive or dead, or I'm going to kill everybody else in this. Like how, you're hiding from something and it's, everything else. So, there becomes a difference in certain things, right? When you're playing, the game from the outside perspective and when you're playing the game from like the first person perspective. And it makes you think about things a little bit more. And now it's you that's in it, not just the theoretical you. If that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, so watching horror game movies is different from playing in the video game. To me, is because you're actually making decisions for yourself. You don't know if the outcome is going to be good or bad. Like in Silent Hill, like some instances, some horror video games have like different endings. And if you're a first time player, you don't know what the ending's going to be.
Yeah.
So your actions, have consequences, and it hits different because of the fact that, if I make all these bad, actions, everything goes to shit. Or if I make all these good actions, bingo.
Yep.
And it just hits so differently. I like to watch other people play because I like to see their reactions. And I also like watching the movies because I'm like, let's see how this director would have done this in such a way. But if I'm in the whole thing, I'm like, okay, am I going to kill everybody here or am I going to save myself?
I think you should kill everybody.
I mean, that's been
me personally.
That's been T's answer this whole time. I'm playing this game series on the hardest level, and she's like, just kill everybody. And I'm like, yeah, but like, that's so easy to do. Why don't I like try not to kill everybody?
But if you need, Mr. Man later on in the game, you know.
I don't need no man.
You
Dude, I
Just a
tried
person,
not to.
like I have healing potions, or like I know how to fix that. Yay! And then you kill him.
Yeah, I tried not to in Until Dawn to not kill anybody, and I think I ended up with one person, one survivor.
Until Dawn was
Oh.
hard to save. Until
Oh.
Dawn was hard to save people. Yeah, that's
Oh.
definitely like that's one of like the things talking about like, you know, what makes them so much scarier is when, you know, especially the games that every time you play, there's multiple different endings, multiple different ways to do them.
Yeah.
And that seems to be especially more recently in the last, you know, 20 years of video
Mhm.
gaming. God, that's so scary to think of. In horror games, and it's like since the early 2000s, a lot
Yeah.
of them have more than one ending because you can make a different choice to something. And
Yeah.
that's kind of scary to think about it. Like, what you mean? What you mean? I'm going to miss something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
To,
it's scary because you have to sit there and deliberately think about your actions. I mean,
Right. That's what I
my
was about to-
my first game I remember had multiple endings was Chrono Trigger.
Mhm.
I didn't know I had multiple endings.
Mhm.
I sat there, I was like, wait a minute, there's
And
other
hats-
endings.
And hats off to every single streamer or YouTuber who sits there and puts in all the different endings and they play it until they can get all the different
Listen,
endings.
just because I'm a completion whore doesn't mean you have to call me out.
I mean, sometimes you just want to see all the endings.
I
Yeah.
wasn't talking about you, first of all, madam. Second of all,
You are.
good.
And
You
Bella,
should.
You only do you get the bad ending the first time every time.
Almost
Right?
every time I get the bad ending. Yep.
Yeah. But Drake, what about you? What about
So
you?
I think it boils down to the actual control of the situation. Like horror games did it really beautifully compared to actual films where they give you more control, but in that sense, you also got less control. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To like reiterate, so like when you're watching a horror movie and something scary happens, you can put your head under the cover, you can close your eyes, you can like plug your ears and not be in that moment. But something scary happens in the game and you're controlling a character and it feels like you're there. You don't have that luxury of just stepping away or like, I mean, sure, you could pause it, but you actually have to do something. So that brings in that like, oh God feeling.
Mhm.
And that just it doesn't go away when you're actually in the game playing,
Yeah.
which I think is the coolest part of horror games versus films.
Yeah. I mean, horror movies and literature are set up so that way you can be comfy
Mhm.
while consuming it.
Yeah.
And you there's a separation there. The screen separates you, the pages separate you. But in a video game, the only thing that is separating you is the screen, but you have to interact with it. You have to be
Yeah.
there's this is intentional going through, and that always hits a little harder when there's intention behind something.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to the games versus the movies and stuff.
And then God forbid you try a VR horror game. Good
Right?
God. I almost broke my Oculus when I played The Exorcist for the on VR. There was this one part where you come out of you're in a church, and this is a tutorial. You're getting the tools you need to play the game.
Mhm.
You walk into the church, you see the statue there, and you're like, oh, okay, ooh, spooky statue, blah blah blah. And then you walk into a room, and then you come back out, and you just hear behind you, and the you turn around, and the statue's just here.
It's
right
a
in front of
weeping
your face.
angel.
Yeah.
No.
I chucked it, threw it, and this is the old school like Oculus where you had to plug it in too. So I threw it. It rips out of my PC. It was bad.
That is
So I
bad.
definitely think that immersion part and taking away that comfort level is the biggest difference.
Oh yeah. No, I completely agree with you guys. Earliest horror games would definitely be considered simplistic by today's standards, but they kind of laid a lot of groundwork, especially for the survival horror games. Did any of you encounter an early game like them, and how do you think they hold up for a game in these kind of systems?
I mean, like I said, the earliest horror game I played was Castlevania. By today's standards, people are like, oh, it's so slow because it's still an 8-bit and you're not really running and you're just... But there's a nostalgia for me because I'm like, I grew up on 8-bit. You shut up. You leave my Castlevania alone. You leave my vampires alone. You leave my vampire hunters alone. They're sexy.
Ain't nothing wrong with one.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then they made the whole, animated series, and they're even more sexier. So leave them alone. It may be simplistic, it may be slow for you, but you know what? For me, it holds up to this day because I will sit there and, beat a motherfucker with a whip.
I volunteer.
Have whips and a big ass red paddle.
Oh yeah, remember
that's glittery. That has glitter on it.
Karen, when Drake says he volunteers as tribute, he means he volunteers as tribute.
I believe in it.
Big red paddle.
Okay, perfect. I want my ass cheeks to be textured.
And now back for your regularly scheduled program.
Anyways, to move, I think games that have kept their format but just updated the graphics. Like I think Resident Evil and Silent Hill games, even to this day, their newer ones play really similarly to their early copies. So I think like those games that kept that same format and just updated the graphics just kind of proves that method worked. You know, it was a level of, sure, there's a horror game and it's like survival and stuff like that, but it also kept that difficulty level to where it kind of made you feel somewhat helpless. So like especially Resident Evil, like ammo was short, so like you had to feel like you had to get up close and personal with a lot of the monsters. Silent Hill, you basically didn't fight. You had to run away a lot of them, and I think it just shows that it holds up to this day by them keeping that same format.
I still think it's weird that you find ammo in like the weirdest places sometimes. You're like, why is there ammo in the refrigerator? What?
Who put this 9mm box in the back of this toilet, dude?
I mean, listen, when you gotta hide shit, you gotta hide shit, all right? You gotta remember, a lot of these games that you're playing is after the apocalypse has already happened, and I'm not letting nobody know where I'm hiding my shit.
That's another thing. It's like, well, I guess Resident Evil makes more sense because some of the monsters are like sapient. They can use weapons, but like if you're just against the regular infected and you're hiding 9mm and like,
but you're not hiding it from the infected. You're hiding it from the other person who's trying to out survive you. And if it's me or you, it is always me.
There goes my complex existing.
I mean, if I find like a gun behind a toilet, I'd be like, oh, you were a drug dealer.
Yeah,
maybe.
Right. Right.
Let's find your other stash.
Right. Where's the good stuff? Yeah, no, I agree. I think a lot of it for me, it has to also do with like the psychological things of them. Like some of the older stuff, it's just like before when I was saying, when it comes to the older movies, right? Some of the older things that you do, right, still holds true, right? I was doing special effects stuff, almost disgustingly thinking 20 years ago. And I know from talking to still some of the same people that they're still using the exact same products. All right. Yeah. Like you're still making blood out of corn syrup and food dye and icing. And it's the right ratio of the stuff that they've been doing it for 20 years. When it comes to certain horror games, it's the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's how a lot of these horror games get away with still making you be like, what am I doing? Because it's the same sounds of certain things. It's the same feel of certain things. It's the same, you need to choose between you or them, or something's going to get you. Or it be, survival of the fittest, stuff like that. And I think that, and, a lot of the monsters, themselves can boil down to a lot of the same things. Yeah. But like at the end, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It still works. Why would you change it? And to be appreciative of the older games that laid out that format for the newer games, I think is something that both Drake and I have, touched upon and, talked about and maybe even struggled with here and there with, newer people that come into communities and stuff where they're like, oh, that's such an old game that you're playing. Yeah. Because if you don't have this, you don't have what you have now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta have foundation to build a house.
Yep. You got to be appreciative of the ones that came before.
Yeah.
Or you don't have all these things that you have now.
Yes. They bled and fought for you.
Yeah, they did.
Exactly.
They screamed and cried.
Exactly. They shit their pants for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I think I don't want to say horror is simple because it's not, but at the end of the day, it is kind of simple. It's just scaring you.
Yeah.
That's really the main mechanic of it. So to scare somebody is to scare somebody is to scare somebody. And we as human beings have very rational and some irrational things that we just naturally all are scared of.
I'm feeling attacked with the irrational. Okay.
You should.
You should. One. Two, it wasn't pointed at you though.
Listen, I'm just feeling very attacked today.
Bella, just note, anything I say tonight is not specifically for you, although I may be thinking about you while I'm saying it.
Listen,
see, that's what I'm saying.
The one I can get, but your tentacle fear is borderline. It's the gray area between it being a kink and you being afraid of it. I think
am so afraid.
You're just lucky Karen doesn't have her Cthulhu banner behind her right now.
I am so scared of those things. Those things are gonna like take me down to the depths of the ocean, and they're gonna sacrifice me to their gods. I'm more scared of than like the cephalopods with tentacles than I am probably of Slender Man. I would rather play Slender Man than play a Cthulhu game.
Dude, Soma would fuck you up then.
Yeah,
it's been on my list. People have been trying to make me play it for years, and I can't do it. I can't.
I'm not even scared of the ocean, and it freaks me the fuck out.
The ocean is a scary place in general. These people that are playing Subnautica should be a horror game. I'm sorry.
So I think a lot of people.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was for a hot minute until I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's not. It's just an action game."
There's no way. That is horrifying.
Look at that, Bella. What are you gonna say? Huh? Look at that beautiful
Sammy.
cat right there.
Yes, she's Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
Yeah, but see, that's cute. It's not coming at my face. It's not in the dark trying to eat me.
Yet.
Right?
But I much like a lot of the older horror films, I think even if you're not in love with it, even if you don't think it was scary, there's still something amazing about the work and the thought process that went behind it.
Yeah.
That it gives you what you have today. It gives you the techniques that you need in order to be able to scare, to be able to do all this stuff. And yeah, I just, I don't know. I also kind of like old school games. Like I'm the person who's like, here, let me pop in my, NES Duck Hunt / Mario, like cartridge.
Dog,
like
I still have an Atari.
Yeah.
I'm not getting rid of it. I have an Atari. I have an N64. I've got the original Sega. I am all for the old school, physical media.
Yeah.
Mine, I have a different appreciation too, because when I stop playing those things and I see them collecting like dust and something on my shelf, I want to pass that along.
Mm-hmm.
So I've made it a habit of like, if I stop using that thing for an extended period of time, like I sold my Sega Genesis to like a dad that wanted to show his kid all the games he used to play, and like my 3DS I sold to the collectors at the vendor stuff so that somebody else could get it and appreciate it more. So like I show my appreciation a little differently because I don't keep all of these things, but I still appreciate it nonetheless. And I think
I still got my PlayStation 2.
I was gonna say my brother and
I do still have a lot of my PlayStations and new things like on TikTok and stuff where it's like a collection of a bunch of old games too. Yeah. It's done really good for the retro gaming community and stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, I have almost bought that many times.
I bought one. It's worth it. I'll send you the one I bought.
Okay, please. But like my brother and I, all the old consoles that we've had, we sit there and we play with his daughter, my niece. We sit there and we play games with her. Like the other day, we were at my folks' house and we were playing the Wii games. Just Dance was one of them. We did the bowling and all that kind of. And we were just having a good time playing games. And that's what it's about. Like gaming is all about just having fun and enjoying it.
Yeah. I think it's one thing you should mention too when you talk about the old school like groundwork of horror games is like they were doing something new, So like it's sure there were horror films and stuff like that. You got your classics and stuff like that, but they had to take something that's like, how do we make this different enough from those to where people aren't going to go, well, we could just watch a scary movie. Why do I need to be scared of the game? And they had to make it innovative enough to actually throw that immersion into, and for them to be genius enough to actually be able to implement the difference.
Yeah.
Is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, like Sweet Home for the Famicom in 1989.
Oh my God, they have games in 1918, Jesus.
Before the Civil War, there was Sweet Home.
Age everyone.
Nintendo was around back then.
I mean,
That's
but they were a card game. Nintendo was made.
The company
gambling.
was still around.
It was made to get around gambling laws in Japan. I looked at my Nintendo history,
But anyways, Sweet Home from the Famicom in 1989 was a tie-in to the horror to a horror film, and considered one of the few game of the movie projects that may have kind of outdone some of the source material. It is directly influenced, definitely directly influenced Resident Evil. Actually, the person who made Sweet Home said that he made Resident Evil with all the things he wasn't allowed to do when he made Sweet Home. So how important are these earlier, lesser known titles for the foundation of the genre? In your all's opinions?
I mean, without these lesser known ones, where we're going to be? I mean, like, you know, the director of Sweet Home, he wanted to do a lot of stuff. But, you know, the 80s, even though the 80s was a wild, wild west with everything cussing and whatnot and violence, you had your limitations.
Don't forget the crabs.
Yeah, you have your limitations. And so he went in mind in the new era of gaming. You know, I couldn't do this over here, but maybe I could do this over here. And because he started with a little seed, it grew and grew and grew. Because we have like what, Resident Evil 25?
9.
Resident Evil fucking
9. We're on
37 at this point.
Yeah, 9.
We're on 9.
9.
But it's got movies, shows, all that to go along with it.
Shows and animated
and
series
remakes.
And remakes. And because of that little seedling came out a whole genre of different video games.
A whole franchise.
I mean, without that little seedling, without that little thought, we probably wouldn't have anything. I mean, he kept that in his brain.
Yeah.
If he would have stopped at Sweet Home, you know, I think we're kind of been like, we've been talking about this in the, you know, the horror game franchise will probably be done in the 2000s instead of the 1900s. And as my niece says, the 1900s.
Oh God.
I know, I hate that so much.
Oof.
Well, I mean, to go off of that, Brian Clark, who is the developer that worked with Dread XP for Mortuary Assistant.
Yeah.
He was working on the new Paranormal Activity game, which is based off of the Paranormal Activity movies. Unfortunately, they had to put a halt on the project because Paramount is saying Paramount wanted him to have things done by a certain time. He's like, if we do that, we're going to rush it. It's not going to be what it's worth. And he wanted to do a few things and they said no. So they had to go their separate ways. Unfortunately, Paramount owns the IP for Paranormal Activity. So he won't be able to continue that particular game. However, he's working on his next thing that will take those seeds from that game that he learned from working with Mortuary Assistant, which went from being a game and then became a movie. Instead of it going the other way around. Yeah. And he's taking that and he's putting that into his next project and stuff. So, but like, it's like we were saying before, without having the seeds of something, without having the foundation of something, you can't have something else, right? Horror games themselves are even though they're in the horror category, a lot of them are also based off of something else where you either have a first person shooter or you have a looter or you have a survivalist. Like if you don't have those things, right, you can't have the other part of it, right? Yeah. But I think that goes for like all genres of things and media in general. It's not just gaming. Like that goes for movies. It goes for books. It goes for, you know, if you
it goes
don't,
for art.
Yeah, if you don't respect the original base of something, how can you build off of it to get
something
your next
something
thing?
that I've had an art teacher say is even if your art is shit is still fertilizer.
Yep.
So create, make something. If it doesn't get used, it doesn't get used, but it doesn't mean that it's not useful.
Yeah.
So no, I completely agree. Sometimes the source material is just a great muse. It gives you just that little bit of something to get the thoughts percolating, to get the creativity going. And much like how Sweet Home gave birth to what we now know as Resident Evil, so much can happen. And you have to have those early starts in order for there to be a foundation to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Much of what is known for horror in films is because of mystery thrillers and suspense films, because they weren't codified as horror, because at the time there wasn't a horror genre, but yet they established a good foundation of what horror could then be built off to then have Todd Browning's Dracula be the thing that codified horror in cinema. And so Sweet Home is the reason you were able to codify survival horror by the making of Resident Evil.
That's what I was going to go into with this question too, is one of the first horror games being based off a movie, I think was a really brilliant idea and a really great foundation and setting stone for how horror games were going to go in this genre for the rest of the time. Because I don't know if you're like me, when I'm watching a horror movie and someone get killed or something like that, I'm like, oh, well, I would have popped through this window, or I would have taken a different trail, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody making a horror game about that. Okay, well, do it then, bitch. When you're in the you're in the moment.
Put your money where your mouth is.
You're talking a lot of stuff when you're sitting there on your couch watching this movie. Do it. And I think that was the biggest feel to early horror games. So they were like, okay, wait, so we can try to do this. We can try to survive when they didn't.
Yeah.
And I think that was
my immediate response. I'm black. I'm going back in the car.
You're not even in the movie. I get it. I fully get it.
I'm Roger. I'm Roger from the Night of the Demon. Bye.
So off of that, let's go ahead and talk about the golden age of survival horror. You have Resident Evil that arrived in the mid 90s. It kind of kickstarted the horror game craze, reviving zombie genre entirely, and kind of bringing third person shooters into the mainstream. What made that game such a perfect storm of timing, mechanics, and atmosphere, in y'all's opinions?
No, I can touch on this because I mentioned it a little earlier. The feeling of hopelessness. So I think a lot of the earlier Resident Evil games, if I remember right, had that fixed camera.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see some of the areas in the room, and that gave you that suspense. Oh, what if there's something in this corner that I can't see? And then it gave you the hopelessness of having to use weapons maybe you didn't like because you only had ammo for those, or you were trying to conserve something for the next thing that might try to attack you. And I think that was a big part of that success and atmosphere. It was there's always going to be something more. So what do I do in this situation now? There's always if I run into 10 more zombies in this room, what if I waste all the bullets missing this one in a room? Or what if the boss is in the next room and I used all of my cool ammo because I got scared.
Yeah.
But it just the fact that it made you think and actually put you in that survival instinct with the horror elements I think that was a big part of its success. I need to start breathing when I talk.
Totally understand.
Yep.
Bella, what about you?
I think a lot of that, and I think also to build off of that, the fact that there was a missing gap, right? So when we talk about with media in general, right, you know the best way to create the new thing is to look at what there already is and where is the gap, where can I fill it into something different, right? So you had a lot of things Resident Evil being the way that it was, where it was built off of other things. If you break it down and take the story aspect out of it, right, because that's where a lot of the the suspense and horror come from, and you break it down to just like what the mechanics and the actions are, right? And the graphics, you're looking at other games like Tomb Raider and stuff like that, where some of those aspects come from, right? So you look at the games that are around you, and then you're like, where can I, for lack of better words, capitalize on what the gap is, right? So you've got horror in film and you have horror in book, right? So now you want to put it into other media, into people's hands, right? And then in their mind in that aspect, right? So how can I take this game and then this game and then this game and combine them all together, but with this other story, right? And the only way to do that is to just kind of look for where the gap is and what things are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going. For me, it was more like, because Resident Evil is such a popular game, you want to see it as, you know, a film version of it, because you want to see what the director could come up with. And I think the Resident Evil the movie came after Tomb Raider, the movie with
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, with Angelina Jolie, and they saw how much of a success that was, and so they were like, you know what, we can do this. Let's do it. And watching it, this one of my favorite comfort movies. I'll put it on. My little niece is like, "Why are you watching it again? Shut up!
Nobody asked.
Why are you watching K-pop Demon Hunters again? Leave me alone." Because it makes me. It doesn't have the same horror tinglingness as the game, because I'm not playing it, but it gives me that whole horror itch that I'm craving. And yeah, I'm not playing Leon or Claire, but Resident Evil lends itself to be an open world and yet a closed world. So you could come up with so many stories with this Resident Evil itself. And I enjoyed Resident Evil, the first movie, because I was like, you know what? I don't want to be in underground city with all these dead things running after me. And they have dead dogs too. Oh shit.
Poor puppies.
Poor puppies. I mean, I'm like, damn, y'all just.
And then randomly in like Resident Evil 2, they throw in dogs that just weren't zombie ones, and you're already conditioned, and you're like, oh my god, I just killed like regular dogs.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If it's you or me, it is always going to be me. I don't care who or what you are.
You heard that right, everybody. Hide your cats, hide your dogs. Bella's coming.
Hide your babies. Bella's going to take you all out.
Listen, I am usually leave no witnesses. Everybody gets slaughtered. Yeah, no, if it's you or me, it is always me. I'm sorry.
And you say I'm the bad one because I'm telling you to kill everybody in the games that you're currently
I've already
playing.
killed everybody by accident before.
How do you kill him? You know what? I'm not gonna question. Next question. Let's go on.
Bella doesn't make great decisions in those types of games.
Yeah,
It does not. I think Resident Evil lucked out. I think it truly did have it just happened to happen at the right time. It just happened to have the right people behind it, to have the right aspects that people needed to then be successful.
Like, you can't deny the sex appeal too. Let's be real.
Yeah.
If we're talking Resident Evil, we can't deny the sex appeal being a big part of it.
Oh
yeah, that's true.
Oh,
that's true.
But it's just one of these deals that I truly do believe it just lucked out. Like, I'm not saying that there wasn't skill behind it. I'm not saying that there wasn't research or anything else behind it. But it just all happened to, luckily, all time up, all at the perfect time. But it did spur so much. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we have Shaun of the Dead and 28 weeks later. I'm sorry, it's 28 days later. Like, it is the reason we have those
years later.
Yeah. But like the 28 series, Shaun of the Dead, like we wouldn't have those movies if it wasn't for Resident Evil.
Well, you also wouldn't have, the Silent Hill series, right? If it wasn't for that, mainly because Silent Hill built off of a lot of those things. But Silent Hill is also based off of a real place too.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there's a lot of
Actually, speaking of Silent Hill, it came out about 3 years after Resident Evil. And it emerged as like a new contender, reminding gamers that horror didn't need to be delivered with a gunshot, but instead kind of relied a little bit on a pretty brilliant soundtrack, dark rooms, family flashlights, kind of bringing a little bit more horror back into it versus the action and survival that Resident Evil had. How do you think Silent Hill carved out a totally different lane of horror from Resident Evil, even though there was some inspiration by it?
When you think about like with Silent Hill, right? So what you don't know is scarier than what you do know, right? What I can't see is going to scare the shit out of me a hell of a lot more. Hearing the sound, feeling the feeling that you get, but you don't know where the fuck it is, versus knowing that you walk into a room and you're going to have to hack and slash and shoot and punch your way through and whatever it may be, right? But like that mist, that fog, not being able to see where you're going, not knowing what's happening, not like hearing the sound of something and not being able to see where it is. Fuck that shit, right? When you think about movies that are scarier, right, that get into your head more versus, you know, your typical, you know, hacker slasher movies, right? The blood and gore is great. Do not get me wrong. But for the same reason that I can't finish the first section of Slender Man is because it's in my head and I can't. Is it there? Is it not there? Is it going to get me? Is it not going to get me? Am I going to survive? Am I not going to survive? Am I going to have to kill everybody else? Like what? Like you don't know. And I think that.
Hey, Bella, look behind you.
I swear to God, don't even. But like,
sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's just Stitch. A bunch of stuff.
Right? There's just a bunch of stitches back there. But it's one of those things that like you don't, and I think that's where Silent Hill and the fact that Silent Hill itself is based loosely, you know, you can say loosely, even though, you know, I've been as close as you can get to that area of Pennsylvania, and I've done some scary shit. I ain't going back there. No. It's, you don't know what's gonna happen. So I think that kind of, it elevates it, right? Like where I was saying before, that you take the foundation of something and then you look for that opportunity of what's missing on it and how can I build upon it.
For me, it's more like, you know, the psychological aspect of it that's different from, you know, Resident Evil. Resident Evil is like, you know, action packed, but you still have your little jump scares and whatnot, while, you know, with Silent Hill, poor man is like being, you know, tormented by the memories of his wife, his grief, everything, and then his poor daughter goes missing, and you're like in that feel of trying to find your daughter while trying to like survive all this shit that's being thrown at you, and you're finding ammo everywhere and guns, and you don't even know what's going on half the time because it's so dim. Fog is scary. You don't know what's in fog. And then you go into like scary ass rooms that's very dark and dim and dingy. I hate dingy rooms because you don't know what's in there. You could get infected by like something like, I don't know, roaches or something.
Tetanus for sure.
You need a tetanus shot after.
Dude, tetanus for sure.
For that, you're like you even like playing the game, I'm like, ooh. Like I can play Resident Evil, be like, oh, okay, cool. Silent Hill, I'm like, ooh, I feel grimy. And it's the psychological torture that you put yourself through when you play Silent Hill. Unlike Resident Evil, you could release that aggression by shooting zombies in the face. Okay?
Yep.
You cannot release psychological aggression on these things because it's from your mind. It's your mind haunting you.
I mean, you can release psychological aggression, but I feel like most of the time you end up arrested.
That's fair. That's fair.
I want to touch on something with these, that like this genre that Silent Hill started, that a lot of people don't think about, I think, and that's empathy in the horror games, which is something that films do a lot more, and I think that's where they got it from. It's like, so Resident Evil, like Karen said, it's, you're a badass, you know, you're walking in with a gun, you're blasting everything and fucking kicking zombies away, but Silent Hill throws you and you're like, oh my God, I'm controlling this somewhat regular person and having to keep them alive. And you know, it puts it in you, but it's like, it gives you more of a, like what is it? The fight versus flight. It gives you more, it gives you more of that feeling because it's like, you know, you can't just stand your ground every single time. So it brings in that, well, do I run? Do I not? Am I going to die here? I don't know what's around this corner, and like, do I need to prepare?
So I think that's a big part of it. And Silent Hill had a good basis for a lot of the games that came further, like Outlast and what is it, Amnesia, where you like just couldn't fight the monsters and had to just run.
Yeah. Amnesia.
See, luckily, I don't have children, so if Silent Hill ever happened, I'm like, I don't have kids. I'm just by myself driving. What the hell?
Sacrifice them
You
all.
put me in here? Like, I'm gonna sit here, man, because I'm not following anybody.
I think I'm trying to go to like an island somewhere because eventually the island's going to be relatively safe. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I have theories. I have 2 kids. My oldest has and T and I have talked about this, and whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it's still a theory. My oldest has cadaver bones in her hips because she had bilaterally dislocated hips. So she had a surgery, right? And my theory is that if the zombie apocalypse happens, if it's along the same lines of thinking like The Last of Us, where they're all kind of connected, right? My daughter already has part zombie, so she can speak to zombies for me and be like, yo, she's cool, leave her alone, she'll cook you food, whatever. And hopefully I'll be safe. Other than that, everybody else gets sacrificed.
Your daughter would immediately go, take her instead of me. We all know it. That one over there, she looks pretty good, right? And just walks on by.
I mean, there's a 50-50 chance she might become a zombie, she might not.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's like you don't know if it's the old school like undead zombie, then she's already got that bit in her.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe she can be the liaison for us. You know, you never know.
The only thing is she's halfway across the country from you. So if this shit happens,
look, if Joel and Ellie can do it, I can do it too. All right.
No, okay.
Yeah. Love you, babe, but I don't think so.
Look, I'm gonna try.
Mark is gonna give you a really great
perfect time to show off my cool thing.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
So jelly.
Now, if I'm in a car with my nieces, everything is off limits. I'm killing everybody to protect those girls.
Yeah, and that's valid.
Sacrifice everybody.
I'm going to speak for the regular man here. I'm dying immediately. Okay. I fully realize.
As the most irregular man I know.
I'm toasted. I'm gone. I am dead. I'm giving myself like 12 hours max. As soon as the apocalypse happens, I'm fucking
12 hours.
I'm grabbing my hurricane.
Can you give yourself like 72 hours of that? No, it's 12 hours.
Nah, dude. Fucking as soon as the zombie like knocks on my door, I'm gonna answer it and then I'm gone. That's fucking it, dude.
I'm gonna grab my hurricane supplies. I'm gonna grab my go bag. I'm gonna steal a paddleboard, go out to one of the little hopper islands, and just wait. And peace out.
I'm kind of secluded anyway. I could probably stay here for a good bit. I live out in the sticks, so
you live out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody's gonna
forget a lake. So I got one side I don't need to worry about.
If it's
the zombies
fast
are
zombies,
gonna forget my state
I'm gonna take
exists.
myself out. Well, it only takes 5 minutes to calm.
But they're gonna forget my state exists because nobody remembers that it's here. So I'm gonna be
because they're gonna go through it in 5 minutes.
What state do you live in?
Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, that's.
Everybody forgets about it.
At least you don't live in Texas. I mean, God.
Yeah, it's
Rhode Island,
get through there.
Rhode Island and Delaware don't exist, and North and South Dakota are just one state pretending. It's just Dakota. Okay.
Okay.
Fucking Rhode Island has like $2 Generals and a Walmart, and that's it.
Like I said, it takes you 5 minutes to go across the state. Like it's easy to conquer.
$23 Uber max.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I'm like, exactly. Damn car. I could use that $23 in my tank. You know how much I had to pay for my tank right now? I cried. My soul literally died. I'm sitting like,
right?
I'm saving that $23.
And now back for your regularly scheduled program.
So the early survival horror era kind of leaned heavily on the resource management, limited saves, fixed camera angles, and genuine vulnerability. How did those mechanical limitations actually serve the horror of the stories.
I suppose I inadvertently answered this question early.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I didn't know it was coming.
That's okay.
But I can just go back to my previous thing. It's just the feeling of helplessness and the panic of having to make decisions in the moment to conserve resources when you might need them later. And just adds to that whole survival aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that, but I would also say that as games have evolved and changed, right, where they haven't had you have that, I know Drake can, speak to this as well as streamers and content creators, right? We kind of get those challenges of like, how can we make ourselves be in that position again, right? Like, for example, there's an entire achievement area for playing The Last of Us, but only using weapons that are like using your bow and arrow and not using a single firearm the whole time, right? So although, yes, games themselves have evolved and added all of those things, there are people that tend to lean back on that, right?
So it says a lot. It says a lot that we're still trying to find that feeling.
Yeah.
Or you could do something dumb like me and do a quiet place, but all your alerts come through your mic.
That was a you fuck up.
That was a real bad idea.
Listen, I played what was it? Don't Scream Together.
Yeah.
Played it with our editor from the blog, and he said it with him whispering really quietly and low like this. And I said it with me talking not really loud, but kind of about this, right? Because if I needed to say something, I needed to say it. And he was like, why is it not picking up on you? And I was like, because I'm not a moron.
Yeah.
I didn't set the microphone to me barely speaking.
Right. Yeah.
Then the monsters come like,
survival of the fittest.
Yeah. But
I'm sacrificing you.
I mean, and I've even seen some streamers who will sit there and play games like that, where you have only certain sounds and alerts that come through. And it's because you have to have that many bits or that many channel points.
I wasn't dumb. I put them all behind like stream stickers and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a minimum of 100 bits. If you're gonna kill me in game, but it added that that same feeling of like I could die at any time, and it's not because of me. Somebody else could fuck. And he's like, they're all monsters. All my viewers are monsters. They killed me so many times.
Yep. That's what we did.
I wasn't there.
It kind of reminds me of what WoW was doing.
Yeah.
They went back to WoW Classic because people wanted to have that nostalgic feel. And it doesn't really work because you evolve so much that people rely on so many things. Even if you have hardcore gamers, they're like, it doesn't feel the same. Because you've been doing, paywall for so long that you can't do Classic anymore because they babied you for so long now.
Yeah. As an OG Guild Wars 1 player, I know exactly what you mean.
Also, as a new school, bought my level 60 Dragonkin. I also know what you mean.
Oh my god! Get out of here!
Like it is really fun.
That's the only expansion I've ever played too. I was a Dragonborn, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I can be a fucking dragon." And I saw that option to start at level 60. I was like, "Bet."
Wow. But it's fun watching my brother play because for him every day is like a new game because he's been playing since WoW came out and he just has this enjoyment like every single time he goes on. I'm like, it must be nice having that childlike enjoyment.
It must be nice being able to enjoy a single game for your entire life. I don't know what that's like. I looked at my Twitch tracker and in the 5 years that I played, I've streamed 145 games.
Wow.
Let's see.
Different games, yeah. I'm so jealous of the people that could just be like, I'm going to stream this one thing, be really good at it, and just enjoy the hell of it. It's something I'm really jealous of.
Like, if he did his own stream on WoW, it's just, that's it.
Yeah.
And he also likes playing hardcore. And I'm like, so if you die, you die? So all that stuff you got, you lose? And he's like, yeah.
And I tried that Fallout. It didn't last very long.
And that's another game he likes to play too. It's like his eyes go ding, and I'm like, oh my god, you're like 50 something years old and you're still playing these games that you've been playing for 20 odd years and you think it's new. I want your childlike mentality.
I've played a total of 236 games on stream.
God.
Goddamn.
But you also stream a lot more than I do.
And you do key mailers and like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, for the most part, every game that I've played, I've done at least an hour to 2 hours. I do give it a full honest like shot, unless it like it's a demo and doesn't have that. But I try to make sure that I give something a full honest. Yeah. I'm looking at this and I'm just like, oof.
There's not a lot of games I've finished though. I think maybe 10 of those 140. Like I've finished all the way through. But I like games that have continuability. You know, like
yeah.
Like it's I played my most streamed game is Sea of Thieves, which I mean we're talking about horror games. So there's horror aspects. It's the ocean, you know.
Yeah.
My most streamed one is Phasmophobia.
Yeah. Ooh.
With 200
gameplay.
221 hours.
So when you guys are playing these games for an audience, how does the tension of the limited resources change for you, like being on camera playing it versus like just like playing?
I'm so stressed. I'm so much more stressed because so there also becomes like this aspect of things, right? Especially from the streamer like standpoint, right?
Yeah.
That if I make certain decisions or I make certain moves, I'm going to start an issue, right? I've had this problem before in another game. I don't know if you would really consider it horror. Maybe, I don't know. But I played a game called The Wolf Among Us, which was a great game. I liked it, but it's basically like, think of it like the Brothers Grimm type, or if Once Upon a Time the TV show became a video game, right? All the you know, these characters and stuff didn't know that they were characters. You know, they didn't know they were fairy tale people. They're kind of locked in this thing, whatever. And you know, there's a murder and somebody's got to solve it, and this, then the other, and you play as a big bad wolf, right? But if you make certain decisions, people get mad, right? I still not knowing the story at the time, not knowing that if I had just read the synopsis, I would have known that the big bad wolf is the sheriff. But no, I don't read. So I didn't read the whole time. No, I wasn't paying attention. It wasn't the whole time. It was like maybe the first like 15 minutes into the game. All right. I wasn't paying attention. All right. I was just enjoying the graphics and the doing the things. And I was just trying to solve a murder. And there's a choice that you have to make. And I basically made a choice that pissed off a community member. And I ripped somebody's arm off, and they got real upset about it and accused me of condoning police brutality. That wasn't what I was going for. I wasn't looking at it like that, right? I'm looking at it as I'm this like badass, like private eye detective, whatever. And this dude is like responsible for something. And I'm just going with whatever. And I didn't know that the choice that I made was going to lead to that. Right. Never played the game before. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But it upset the person so much that they spoiled the ending of the game.
I hate people who do that.
Correct.
That person probably hates Mouse PI for hire, dude.
Right.
Right.
But it's one of those things, right? So as a streamer, right, when you're playing these games, right? So when I play Phasmophobia, if I make the wrong choice of something, you run the risk of pissing off people in the community that are like, well, why are you using those? Because this is what I want to use. Well, why aren't you doing this? Well, because I'm the one playing the game. Now, I know both Drake and I are not the type of streamers that you can push me over into doing what you want me to do. That's not how this works in my space.
Hell no, you'll be out of here, bitch.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I know when to hit the ban
This
button.
is my first time playing it, man. Leave me alone.
Oh, yeah.
Me.
Both,
It's my first time
both
playing it. This
Drake,
is why I'm doing it like that.
both Drake and T are some of my mods, and they have no problem hitting that ban button. They enjoy it. They've been known to unban, reban, unban. The other one can ban, and then 10 of my mods have banned the same person just for fun.
Damn,
but when
it
you
is
play
fun.
Yeah, that is kind
the
of fun.
same person. Fuck.
It's a power complex.
But
especially if they're like super douchey.
Oh yeah, they all take turns. It's fun. But when you play these games, right, you run the risk of these things, right? So like when you're playing The Last of Us, right, there's choices that you can make, right? I'm gonna assume that we've all seen or watched or seen play of The Last of Us, correct? I don't want to spoil anything for anybody.
If
The
people,
game's
if
10 years old.
we're very much of the things are going to get spoiled. If you don't want to be spoiled, then take care of the things that you need to take care of so you don't get spoiled.
And season 1 of the show is fully out. If you don't know what happens, it's on you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a choice at the end of the very first game as Joel that you go into the room to save Ellie, right? And you can choose to only kill the doctor or also kill the nurses.
Oh.
I, again, very much play the everybody dies except me type horror. And I killed everybody. And I got a lot of backlash for it. And they're like, why'd you do that? And I'm like, because I'm not leaving any witnesses to the fact that I just did this. What are you talking about? I didn't realize, again, first time playing through, didn't know that you could have kept them alive, right? Because I'm thinking, I'm trying to survive, right? I don't care. There's gunshots coming the other way. There's zombies outside. You're trying to cut open my friend's brain right now. Like, you're all dead.
Yeah.
We're gone. So you run the risk of these things when it comes to playing on stream. You know, you got to think about how you want to play a lot of these horror games and doing it in a way that you're still having the integrity of yourself, but things aren't going to get ruined for you because you made somebody upset. And there's a lot of fandoms that happen with a lot of these that like will come for you with pitchforks if you don't do their game honor and justice.
I mean, we saw
it's your
with
experience, it's your funness.
Yeah, right.
But we've seen that with a fellow person that we all kind of hang out in. They were playing Red Dead Redemption, and because they made choices that somebody didn't like, they ruined the game.
Yeah, that's why I can't finish it either.
You know, hey, this is how it ends. And
I was playing along with them and had no idea that that's how it was going to end until it all happened in chat. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not playing this game anymore.
Yeah.
Well, oh, sorry. I was going to piggyback off of that.
Go ahead.
I want to say this with like a precipice because I'm not one to like be embarrassed of my choices and stuff, but that's also an added factor. Like, not only is it a possibility to piss off people, but it's also like your choices in the game and in the heat of the moment. It's especially with like the Resident Evil and the limited resources, stuff like that. It's, oh, am I going to panic, unload my clip into this zombie right here, and then be fucked for the boss in the next room? It's that embarrass factor. Like, it's like, oh, I can't do anything here now. I gotta backtrack and I gotta do something way differently. It's just like when you have, you know, a bunch of people watching you, that's an added pressure on top of on top of the pressure that's already there. Yeah, made into the game. You know, it's your choices matter a little bit more because, like Bella said, everybody's just gonna judge them. And you know that, so it just adds to that pressure of performing well.
But no, and it is, and like even if you're a baby streamer only streaming to 4 or 5 people, that's 4 or 5 people sitting there staring at you, and that you pretty much know fairly imminently.
And there's at least one person who's creepy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep, you've got at least one stalker in that group.
Yeah, throw like 2 or 3 in mine.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you're just so handsome.
It's my own damn fault. I know.
Drakey Poo, you're just so handsome.
I hit on Drakey Poo every single stream.
Every breath you take.
So let's continue this conversation. Then we have the shift to more action-based stuff because of Resident Evil 4. And they kind of like changed up the Resident Evil game. Still kept like a lot of stuff canon, but like they revived it. It shifted the entire series and arguably the genre away from a lot of the old school survival horror stuff and towards more the action driven. So you had more ammo, enemies became faster and smarter. The entire eerie, quiet gave away to like more cinematic masterpieces. What was that like good for the evolution of the horror gaming, or do you think it kind of did something and kind of lost the plot?
For me, it kind of lost the plot because I'm like, I want to be scared, motherfucker. Like,
Mhm.
I don't mind faster zombies. I don't mind, cinematic sets, but why am I having so much ammo?
Mhm.
I wanna survive. Don't give me like 18 million ammo bullets. Do sporadically. I want to be able to fight like close hand if I have to. It's like, oh shit, I ran out of bullets. Here's my knife. Stabby, stabby, stabby. Or stabby, stabby, stabby. Yeah. Stabby, stabby, stabby.
Yeah.
Not that way. I mean, it's like, okay, I understand people like action, but
Mhm.
there should be a balance,
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
this like straight up action. You need to have that classical horror survival mentality. Okay. Not everything has to be clean, cut, and dry.
Mhm.
Give me that I'm on the verge of death.
Yeah.
I have choices to make here. Do I have to use all my ammo or I'm going to fight fisticuffs?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can kind of agree where like at the time it did lose that, like it lost a little bit of the horror, but I think it was important for the horror game genre as a whole moving forward. Like I feel like it opened up a lot more branches for like the action side of horror for people who did like that. Like it might have been a step in the right direction for a lot of people as far as like if you're a real like true horror fan. But I
Mhm.
think it was an important step as far as branching out and getting more people into that genre that would then explore different titles and different experiences who might not have in the first place.
Yeah.
I think that for me, I kind of liked the build up process of it. I think I liked the build up process of it because I have, I had said before that I played so many games that I didn't even realize were technically horror games because I saw them more as something else.
Mhm.
I think it kind of kept me into it a little bit more.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because like I want to be able to survive. I want like, so a lot of the things that I do when I first play games, right? So right now I'm playing, the Dark Pictures Anthology one, but I'm playing it on the hardest level. When I first played it, I played it on the baby level because I just want to enjoy the story and I want to survive.
Mhm.
But now I kind of already know.
Now
I
you're
mean,
pulling a mat and going at the hardest level.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I feel like it depends on the game and I feel like it depends on the situation, right? Because like I want to survive, but like I also don't want to struggle. But like I do want to, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense.
I want to struggle.
I think
struggle
it was,
enough. I struggle enough in my real life. I don't need to struggle in my game life.
I think it did a little bit of both. I think it was refreshing because it was different and it did add a different element of fear versus like the classic elements of fear. But at the same time, it became repetitive. And because it was repetitive, that's where it lost the fear element. You're not scared of something you've seen a million times. So like when it's
Nah, bitch, I've tried to do Slender Man 5,000 times. I'm still scared of that motherfucker.
Yeah, but that's because you can't parry him and then squash him underneath your boot.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You can't parry his rocket launcher with your axe and then roundhouse kick him to hell.
Facts. I can't light him on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do think like this era kind of became like a low effort when it came to like the game and how some of the critics saw it. What do you think caused that dip in the late 2000s and early like 2010? Was it because it was mostly action, or do you think there was something else at play?
Oh, I definitely think it was mostly action, especially during that time period.
Yeah.
It started becoming too hack and slash, and then you got then it became it's like I'm not playing a horror game anymore, and then they just didn't do it well enough to compete with the other games during that time. You mean like why would you play Resident Evil 4 as this action horror game when you have God of War right there? Like
yeah,
it lost its
or
identity.
COD lobbies.
Exactly, anything like that. It's if you want that type of thrill, you just look for something else, and I think that's why it kind of lost its luster as far as horror gaming as a whole.
Okay.
Just because there was they strayed too close to the sun of
like
action
Icarus.
games,
Like Icarus.
Yeah, I think
and it just they burned a little because there are so many other better ways to get that feeling from there.
I think to also build up off of that, I think the other thing is too is you have to look at that time period and how many other games were happening at that time, right?
Yeah.
So in the 2010s to almost 2020s, right? We've had such a, dump of video games, right?
Yeah.
You used to wait, like part of the reason why everybody's getting mad about how they have to wait, a year and a half for GTA and blah, 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 blah is why are they announcing it so soon? And now we got to wait. We're in the era of wanting it now, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, back in the early 2000s, right? First of all, you didn't find out about shit online. We found out about shit from your local GameStop first.
Shout out Game Informer.
Game Informer.
Game Informer.
Right? Right? But where were you getting your Game Informer? Through GameStop.
Yep.
Right? Because you were only getting it with your pro membership, right? So you were getting your information from hard physical media, right? And then we didn't have these online, we did, but we didn't have these online blogs at the time of certain things, right? So you weren't getting any of that information. And then you were waiting, 6 months, a year and a half for the game to come out, and you didn't really care about that. But then in the beginning of the 2010s, you have this massive dump of all kinds of video games. Everything was coming out at that time. You had Halo games coming out. You had Destiny games coming out. You had Call of Duty games coming out. You had all the horror games coming out. You had the multiplayer games that were coming out. Everything was dumping all at once, right?
Yeah.
And then now you have the console wars and the PC wars were all happening at the same time. So everybody's trying to pump out as much as they possibly can. That, like, at that point, how can you, even as a person with fully 80 of the HDs, I couldn't focus on one, let alone 10 of them. Like, it wasn't gonna happen. The entire gaming community as a whole took a hit. It wasn't just horror that was taking the hit. That hit went across the board on everybody. Everybody was taking a dump.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to fit into somebody else's category. And that's why now you have an entire list of games that have 16 different subgenres of them because, well, they technically do this, and well, they technically do that, and well, they kind of, they have this theory and they have that theory. And like, now everybody's pissing in everybody's bowl, and it's just like, stay to yourself.
Yeah.
I thought we were using bad analogies here. Not
As someone who worked for
everybody's bowl sounds great.
As someone who used to work for Babbage's that turned into a GameStop, the Game Informers were like the shit back in the day.
Dude.
And then
a bunch of them.
then
I just looked them up on eBay. They're worth money now.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Me.
I have almost every single Destiny one because I'm a freak when it comes to Destiny.
But it's like y'all said, it's just a game dump. And everyone loses themselves. And you, as a fan, you're like, well, this one is also horror, but this is psychological. This is also horror, but this is action. That's fighting, but it's dark fighting, dark comedy fighting. Then this is fighting, but if they're on the beach, they're naked. And this is, it's like, this is it. And you're like,
listen, let's not bring up 10 or 11.
Which one do I want? And, it's just everyone loses itself into everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. Like, Resident Evil became action, but, like Drake said, why do I want to play Resident Evil when there's God of War?
Yeah.
Kratos.
And the thing is like there was so many more. There were so many more better action-based games that were coming out versus what horror was presenting. And it wasn't because the horror games themselves weren't good. They just were kind of basic in comparison to these other action games.
We were getting over flooded with everything all at one time. It's like when movies all come out all at once, and then you're like, what do I go see? Like,
exactly.
I only have so many hours in the day. And like, you get these video game series and these franchises that are, each one is like 20 something hours, right? Like the Dark Pictures have done it great where each one can kind of be completed in like anywhere from like 4 to 12 hours, depending on how much exploring you do, right?
Yeah, so like 20 for you.
Like how completionist are you?
Yeah. But like, I feel attacked again. But like,
oh, that was a deliberate attack.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
My comment was.
Mine was too.
But like, but that's the thing. Like, you have these smaller games, but like at that time period, big beefy games were coming out, right?
Yeah, dude.
He said
Resident Evil
beefy.
4, I just looked it up. Halo 3 came out 2 years after Resident Evil 4. No, like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to try to dip your toe into a different style of game when you got everything around you coming up the same way. It was poor timing. Like I said earlier, it needed to happen because it did open up a subgenre of horror games. Like it led into like Left 4 Dead and shit like that, and which are considered great horror games, action wise, but it was poor timing.
Yeah. So I want to ask this, and this is kind of like a versus question. Do you think action horror or psychological survival horror is better, or are they kind of the same thing, like same level, just your preference?
I would say same level, just preference.
Okay.
Like,
do you think one is more?
It depends on what you're looking. Yeah, psychological horror is always going to be scarier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could blend the two really well, then you have a great horror. It's like action and psychological shit. Like, damn, what did I just do? I can't believe I killed this child. I didn't mean to kill this child. This child was a zombie. And then come to find out it was not a zombie. It was a child that was dressed up as a zombie. And you're like, fuck.
Oh, I pulled a Bill
Nye, the science guy?
No.
That's what I thought.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
And a lot of times, if you do end up trying to mix them, it ends up just being a non-horror game that has horror elements. Like, I mean, you can go back to Fallout. You end up killing a feral ghoul that ends up being like, it was just a random thing attacking you in this vault, like dark vault, that scared the shit out of you. You killed it, but it ended up being someone's, like mother that had gotten radiated before. So like you have to deal with that choice when you go into a city or to like actually find that person. Yeah. So it ends up getting convoluted when you try to do too much outside of the horror realm to where it starts to be not feeling like a horror game.
Yeah, I would say that they both have their pros and cons. I don't know if I would necessarily consider them equal. I would consider them like an apple and an orange, right? They're both a fruit. You're both going to get your nutrients.
That's kind of what I meant when I said they're kind of like equal.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like they're both a game. You're gonna get your spooks out of them either way, right? You're gonna get the spookies no matter which way you go. Right.
It's a tomato.
Still a fruit though.
Still a fruit. It's a fruit and a vegetable, but it's still a fruit.
But you know what? But it's going to be different. I would have to definitely say the psychological ones are more of a mind fuck and are definitely going to be something that's a little bit more scary when it comes to things. But I think that applies for everything, whether it be a book that you're reading, a movie that you're watching, a play that you're seeing, a painting that you're looking at, something that fucks with your brain is more likely to catch the consumer off guard, right, than something else. But I feel like on that same aspect, right, you have this overwhelming question that becomes the bigger issue is, well, what's horror then?
Yeah.
Because horror to me is not the same thing as it is to tea. It's not the same thing that it is to Drake. And it's not the same thing that it is to Karen.
So listeners, our fellow horrorholics, definitely go back to our What is Horror episode. I think it's episode 2. Yeah, episode 2. Basically, our philosophy here is anything that scares you is considered horror.
Well, I'm
because horror is all based off of your perception.
Yeah.
So, what scares you,
Yeah.
Like some people sit there and say that Jaws is not a horror movie, while other people are like, yeah, it is. And so
if you've ridden the ride at Universal, it's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. We totally believe that it's a horror movie.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
The suspense, yeah.
So let's go ahead and move into psychological horror, because that's kind of like the next big era of horror video games. And let's talk about PT. So this was a game that was started off it was created. It's a demo of a game, I should say.
Yeah.
It was a demo of a game that was started by the guy who created Silent Hill.
Shout out Hideo Kojima.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro was part of it. Norman Reedus was part of it. And
oh, daddy. Sorry.
And Jinju Ito was also part of it. So you have all of these great And all of these people are greats in horror.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all part of this. They made this teaser, this playable teaser for what ended up being a canceled Silent Hill game. And it became pretty influential for horror experiences, despite it never actually becoming a game. Why do you guys think
might be changing, by the way?
Yes.
It might be coming out now.
It might be coming out now. I know. I'm so excited. But why do you guys think free short teasers have that massive cultural impact on the horror gaming now, and why?
Well, I think when you talk about this, right, you have to also mention the newer, and I say newer very loosely because a lot of these conventions have been around for a while. It kind of brings it back to the conventions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, for example, at PAX, whether it be East, West, Unplugged, Australia, for a while there was PAX South. You go to PAX and you're playing a lot of these demos, right? So like having these demos, having these teasers, having these things make the consumer want more, right?
Yeah.
As humans, especially as, you know, time has evolved and we have evolved, we want that instant satisfaction, gratification, you know, we want that, right? So having those teasers and stuff make you want more of what it is, right? So having something that may or may not make it, or may not just be like a little bit of something, well, here now it branched off and became something else. Obviously, as Drake had said, it might actually also be coming to fruition now, years later, but having that makes people want it, right? You know, I know from playing, you know, the Paranormal Activity demo at PAX, I actually reserved and didn't finish the complete demo because I was like, I don't want to solve this puzzle and have it spoil it for me for when I play the game, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of kicking myself now that the game's not going to come out, that I didn't finish the demo, but I was almost at the end anyway.
It was fucked.
It was, yeah. It like, but like you know, you do these things, right? And like it makes people want it, right? Like, why do, you know, movies have trailers?
Yeah.
Because now I want to see this, right? You know, having a demo for a game, especially a horror game, whether it be a psychological horror, an action horror, or anything in between, you know, now I want to know. Now I want to know why I'm going to die. Now I want to know why I'm killing everybody else with me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, demos are a great way to like get a feel for how the audience will, you know, react to said game, movie, and or book. I think, you know, without demos, you won't get to see, as you know, as a marketer, as a business person, you won't get to see if this subject is going to be great or not. And because, you know, demos have been around and trailers have been around, they get to gauge on, will we make this into a full game?
Yeah.
And, you know, because there's so many people like clamoring for it after playing a demo, you're like, okay, we could do it.
Yeah.
We could do it. It's like being a beta tester for a movie. My brother was a beta tester for a movie. Years back, he had to go to the movie theater, sign waivers and all that jazz. And they had to give their opinion.
I'm just a beta.
And you know, he had to do all that, and you know, it's kind of like that. But he had to do the whole experience. But in the end, they had to change because of how the audience was. They had to change some scenes, change some music.
There's a lot of changes in films. I mean, we've talked about it throughout this podcast. They're like, hey, this didn't get a good review, so they changed the ending.
Yeah.
Like, you know, yeah.
And so demos are kind of like the same way. And without demos, I don't think, you know, we'll have like a such a myriad of things that we have. But it has to be a very good demo. Okay. You just can't play.
I played some real bad ones.
So PT was considered like the perfect horror game.
Yeah.
Like at the time, like when it came out, the teaser, everybody was like, this is the perfect horror game.
Even
we
the
can't wait to play it.
Yeah, even the teasers being held up to like Visage level.
Can you still play it?
Yeah. I think they finally re-released it. They did take it down for a few years. But I think they re-released the demo.
So I think when PT come out, I just looked up the release date and stuff like that. I think it's important to note that Vine released a year earlier. So I do think that was a big decision in releasing such a good demo and stuff like that, because people were like, they saw the boom of this short form content going on and people really latching onto that. So, I mean, Kojima's not stupid by any means. So he definitely had to have saw that and like, hey, let's release this teaser. Let's really build, put a lot of what the game's going to be about into this, but let's make it free and actually in playable and really good. So it was during that initial boom of short form content that really what put PT on the map. And I really hope we get this game coming out soon. Holy.
Right.
I will play that.
Right.
But I think that was a big part of it, was that short form content. And it was during that time where like demos weren't really a thing unless you got I don't know if Game Informer was still doing it at that time, but like you couldn't go to GameStop and be like, hey, I want to try this game for a little bit. I guess Blockbuster maybe.
Yeah.
Blockbuster used to let you do that.
Or like there was that one.
There was like a little
like
section.
Rent games. But like stuff like that, but like there was
mine had like a little section you could actually go and play, and the machines themselves timed out at a certain time.
Okay, yeah. Like in this is before like Let's Plays started getting really big, to where you can watch somebody else play the game and get a kind of feel for it. So I had
never seen it or heard of it personally myself. Like, I mean, like I said, I know of like demos and stuff in general, being, working for the blog and writing for them. And, we do as media, we get demos. We also get games, advanced copies of things before they come out for certain things. So like, being on that media aspect of things, having kind of like an inside view of some of these games coming out, it's definitely how you keep the public involved in doing this stuff, right? I didn't know about this, and now I want to play this because looking at this is dope.
Please.
However, I'm gonna definitely need some assistance in getting this Drakey Poo.
Okay. You got it. It also invokes like a sense of pride. To the fact that like they could release part of the game for free and then still expect people to PT on itself in a demo was brilliant. Yeah. Like it just goes to show how proud of the game they were developing was, which made you want to get it anyways, despite you playing a big part of it and really enjoying that part. Yeah. Which I think that was important for it to go.
I think it goes for all demos though too.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it in general, right?
Yeah.
Like when you look at all demos of games, especially these days, a lot of these demos, they have to give you like at least an hour of a demo or people aren't going to play it, right?
Yeah.
So like you run the risk of like, how much of this game are we giving away? Can we give this away and not spoil certain things, especially when it comes to horror, right? Because so I played Project Songbird, and Project Songbird had a demo, but it wasn't actually Project Songbird. It was some of the enemies from Project Songbird and other puzzles that were very similar to the puzzles that you would play in the game.
That's smart.
So you weren't actually giving away the game. You were giving away basically like a tutorial how-to, right? Because T watched me play the demo and I was like, fuck this shit. I'm so pissed off at these things. And then I played the game and there's more mannequins in the game than there is in the demo.
I also think PT was a big reason that like it was going... Like I said, it was during that boom of like big social creators and stuff like that. Twitch was also going through a big boom at that time. So I think PT was a big reason, playtests and like reaching out to creators to give them a free copy of the game. I think the success of PT was a big reason that became such a thing. Be like, hey, play this a little bit early, or like had this playtest that's like a version of our game that's not going to be the full one, and just tell people that, but try to get people hyped for it.
Yeah, coming out in 2014. There was a lot of stuff that was happening at that point.
Yeah. But I think PT's success as a demo was a big reason for that boom in like playtest for everything, not just horror.
Yeah. Why do you guys think the psychological horror has had such staying power in comparison to like some of the jump scares, especially for you guys who are streaming it? So you're in front of the camera a lot. You have this like repeated exposure therapy essentially to jump scares and psychological stuff. But like how does your relationship with these psychological games and the comparison between the two work out?
Well, I think it's because there's so many lanes you can go down.
Okay.
Like when you talk about psychological horror, think of you ask anybody and name 10 fears, 10 things you're afraid of, and everybody will have all 10 of those things. So like I think that's a big part of it, is like no two psychological horror games are going to be alike because there's so many different avenues that they can explore. There's you got the underwater ones, you got things where it's just almost completely in the dark, you got ones where you can only look through a camera. It's like there's ones filled with mannequins and tentacles for Bella. It's just like and that's I think the most beautiful part and like the most sustainable part, especially streaming it. It's like it's not like they're doing another psychological horror, blah blah blah. They're doing another horror game. No one thinks, oh, they're just doing another horror game. Everyone thinks, oh, what are they going to get scared by this time?
Correct.
You know, it's not they play horror games all the time, they're not going to get scared and stuff. It's everyone's going to think about that anticipation of the streamer getting scared. Like, and I think that's never going to change because, like I said, there's so many avenues that you can go down. I can see a psychological horror game where you're just being attacked by squirrels constantly. You know, it's
it's called Squirrel with a Gun.
Yeah.
It's called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp with those all little squirrels. Yeah,
The Goose were better. I like the Goose more.
Yeah, the Goose. Definitely more.
But then you have like Coconut Simulator. Like,
I don't know.
Somebody might be scared of the fact that when you're the coconut, it's nothing but black.
Yeah. So I think that, with jump scares, there's, depending on the game, right? Because there's only a handful of games that do jump scares in them that have a good amount of replayability. Okay. Because jump scares, it's like when you go through a haunted house, right? Something has to be scary, right?
Yeah, have haunted houses.
When you're going through scare, but like, so I mean, T, from going to Halloween Horror Nights, right? If you go to the same house 3 fucking days in a row, you're most likely going to, by that third day, kind of know where certain things are going to pop out of. I mean, I change it a little bit here and there, but like, but you get what I'm saying? Like, so when you're playing a jump scare game, there's only so many different, things that can trigger each thing, right? So there becomes if you're a completely nothing but horror content creator, right? You run the risk of knowing these games so much, right? Like, how many times have I said on stream where I'm like, I don't like that noise, I don't like that sound, something's gonna happen, because I can hear that thing. I'm like, something's gonna trigger, something's gonna happen, it's gonna be a thing, right? And then the jump scare happens.
I've hit that wall with Demonologist. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a 50-50 shot of whether or not you're going to, get it. I have 200 and something hours in Phasmophobia. I can tell you almost how everything's going to happen in it because I've played so many hours in it. I know how these events get triggered. I mean, now not so much anymore. They've done so many updates on it, right? Which is great because you need to have those things, right?
It's to keep people engaged.
Correct. But when you have the psychological horror part of it, right? It's not just, what did they know that I don't know? What does the game know that I don't know? It is what don't I know, right? What is that noise? What is that sound? What is that light in the corner, right? And it probably is nothing, but you don't know that it's nothing. And it gets into your head and it makes you think more as to why. And then you become that vulnerable person of like, well, fuck.
Yeah. It gives you that feeling of like anticipation of a jump scare happening, but it maybe even never getting there. But like you just keep that feeling. And then Alien Isolation did that really beautifully.
Yeah, it did.
I mean,
I played the Alien remake one and it was, I'm good.
Psychological horror lends itself to a lot of horror because, if you think about it, let's use one of the best psychological horror movies, Silence of the Lambs.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch that over and over and over again, and you'll still won't get tired of it, and you'll still find new things in the movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like, like psychological horror video games. You have this intense fear, and yet, even though you've played it over and over and over again, you still have that mentality of what's going to happen next. Is it really going to happen next?
Mhm.
Or is it going to unlock a new fear for me?
Yeah.
Or, if they do updates on it, it's like, oh, what type of fear we're going to do now? What type of logical trauma we're going to do now? And for me, it holds really well because of the fact that you have to constantly think about what you're doing, what actions will cause an effect,
Mhm.
what fear is going to come out at you. Is there
Yeah.
going to be a jump scare? Is it going to be a jump scare? And you continue walking, and then there's no jump scare. And you're like, I'm just sitting here creeping along. Somebody can be behind me, just watching me. You're like, what the fuck's she doing?
Which happened with PT. No,
Yeah.
Mhm.
It did.
If I was a murderer, I'm like, why are they person creeping along? What's going on? Are they sensing something I don't? Because at the same time, it's like if you're the player and then the killer's watching you do something, they're like, should I be afraid of something?
Yeah.
Should I kill this person? Because if I
Mhm.
kill this person, what if they're hiding from something that's going to kill them?
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
kill me.
Yeah.
You have that whole thought process going on, and also the fear of things under the water or man-made things under the water is called submechanophobia.
I just have a fear of
Oh.
cephalopods is really what it is.
Why?
Suction cups. So I got my foot touched
Dude.
by a baby octopus when I was probably 7 years old. Okay, so to me, the thing was ginormous. In reality, it was probably a quarter of the size of my foot, but it wouldn't come off because the suction cups, the tentacles, stick to. So I freaked the fuck out. So I have an irrational fear. I will fully admit it, that they're going to suction cup themselves to my face and drag me down to the bottom to sacrifice me to Cthulhu because I won't be able to breathe.
So is it just a fear of suction cups or a fear of all cephalopods?
It's everything
Yes.
except for the cuttlefish. The cuttlefish doesn't bother me as much. It's squid and octopus.
So it's like the more prehensile suction cups.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
smart ones. Got it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Them fuckers be smart. The cuttlefish still creeps me out. It makes me very uncomfortable in my own skin. I don't really feel like the cuttlefish should be considered a cephalopod, but apparently it is.
So you
Okay.
have
It's got the tentacle and the suction.
trypophobia.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's not fun.
Choppa, chippy, chippy, doop.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's that's yep. Nope. I'm good with them. They can get fucked.
And now back for your regularly scheduled program.
Okay.
Because we have streamers here, we might as well hop into some streamer era horror chit chats.
Oh, hell yeah.
Psychological and horror and the streamer era kind of go hand in hand because you did have a lot of people streaming it. You had the Let's Plays, you had the YouTubes, and Markiplier, and all of those guys.
He's so handsome.
He is.
It is.
I like how we're all like, is.
Except for Drake's like,
Oh, no.
No.
I was looking at pictures of him. That's why I didn't say anything. I got so mesmerized.
How do you guys think the rise of platforms like Twitch and YouTube actually kind of helped shape how horror games got made, how they got popular, the whole gamut of how their
I want to be
popular.
So that's easy to answer.
Yeah.
Real easy.
Okay.
As a developer, watching you play it, right? I now know what's scaring you. I now know what's inside your head. I now know how to fuck with you even more, right? You've now made it public knowledge, right? I don't have to guess how this is doing and wait for a review to come back or have, how many stars or whatever. I don't have to wait for things. I can watch you live, right? So as a developer, you now know how these things are going to be. And, that can really change things, right?
Mhm.
And then on the other aspect of being the consumer, I can't play Slender Man, but I can watch Drake play Slenderman.
Okay, so what is about this Slenderman movie? The game? I've never played it. I've heard of it, but what's going on with it? Why are you afraid of it?
Oh, it's fucked because
faceless man in the woods. It's
a faceless man in the woods. Okay, first of all, it's a faceless man with a white face that looks just like the moon in the woods, right? So you're not sure if that's the moon or if that's the faceless man that's coming to get you.
So white man, black cats. Got it.
But
we got a weird dynamic going on.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Please continue. Please continue.
But as I can piggyback off that a little bit too. It's like Bella was saying, it did give a lot of ideas for developers in new games and stuff like that, finding out what did well with the horror games with actually scaring people and stuff like that. And as far as the viewer standpoint, it's like if I'm too afraid to buy this and I don't think I can play it on my own, I might be able to watch somebody play it and then have the bravery to then go and buy it and play it myself. You know, it's some people just need that little like exposure. Here's what's going to happen. You're still going to be scared, but here's what's going to happen. And I think the Let's Plays.
It's like the people who go ahead of you in a haunted house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that led to the like Friends games too. So like I think the Let's Plays and stuff had a big impact with games like, was it Lethal Company and in the Backrooms games and stuff where you're playing with friends, but it's still at like shock value and scares. So like they just added upon what was already obviously successful. PewDiePie and Markiplier are probably the top runners with horror Let's Plays and stuff, and really led the way.
Yeah, but I think by having a lot of these kind of things, so having streaming, so like Steam and Epic for being able to play the games, on top of having YouTube, you know, people playing the games and all that, I think it also opened a massive door for indie game developers who would not have had a shot before that.
Right.
Where like they would just been turned down and like nobody would have seen the game and it would gone into obscurity.
Yeah.
Like Project Songbird.
Yeah.
Correct. I can't tell you how many times I get in my DMs or because I have an email specifically for my stream account that I get a developer send me and be like, hey, so I saw that you played this game and the game I'm making is very similar to that. If I give you a game code, will you play it? You don't have to play it on stream, but can you tell me what you feel? And like literally earlier today, I accepted another one from somebody that had done that. Project Songbird, you had seen it on TikTok. You hit through me. I messaged him, hit up the editor. Come to find out, the editor and him are friends in real life. He immediately sent me over a copy and was like, "There you go. Let me know if you need anything else." I literally, and the other thing that comes with, Drake and I being on stream, right, and having this connection to developers a lot easier as content creators than the regular person purchasing a game, right? Because T goes and buys a game or Karen goes and buys a game and has an issue at home with it. Who are you contacting, right? Drake and I have an issue with the game. I had an issue with one of the puzzles. I wasn't understanding one of the things. Come to find out, T was able to figure it out before me, but that doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. Don't give her any credit. I literally messaged him in the middle of the night and was like, hey, am I getting this wrong? And he was like, this is where you want to think. And I was like, okay, thanks. And then I had to message him because another friend of mine was playing it and she has epilepsy. So she was asking for if there were a certain setting for something. And he did have it. It just wasn't as, visually obvious or whatever. So I messaged him and he was like, this is what you want to turn off. And I was like, thank you. You know what I mean? And and he took that feedback, went back and added a thing saying, to make it easier for people to see it, right? Which is why I was saying, developers, whether it be indie developers or big time developers, AAA studios, they're constantly watching what we put out, right? They're constantly in our streams, like
all up in that grill.
Yeah, that's not even like big streamers.
Yeah, no, they're not, and it's not even big streamers. It's little streamers. They want to know what the person with the 3 average viewer is, what they're getting scared at, what they're not getting scared at, what's a hard puzzle for them, how can they fix things. So that kind of like brings like a whole nother aspect to like,
I stand what I said. Every breath you take.
Yeah, they stalked us all.
Yeah.
It's just stalking you. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with
Every
it.
move you
Yeah,
make. It's like, stop.
Developers slide into
I've-
chats more often. It's always a joy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, they fucking keep stalking me. I've also been known to, after I write a review for the blog, I've been known because all of my streams get backed up onto YouTube. So you can watch every stream for the past, I would say, almost 5 years. I think that first like 6 months I didn't do it because I didn't really know that I should be doing it. But for the most part, everything gets backed up there. So anything that you want to see, it's all in different playlists. So I have literally, I had a Cozy Corgi's Hike hit me up and was like, hey, I know you played my game and I know that you wrote this, thing for the blog or whatever, but do you have any clips? And I was like, I got you one better. Here's all of the VODs. Cut what you want. So,
Yeah.
I need to start doing that. Whoops.
So, as streamers, and even Karen, like obviously as being the awesome person that you are,
consumers are important.
Yeah, consumers are important. You have things like Five Nights at Freddy's. You have the Doki Doki Literature Club. You have Phasmophobia, Lethal Company, Devour It All, and they represent this like newer wave of horror games that have horror games that became massive because of streaming and the content creators. What do you think it is about a lot of these titles that made them so perfect for that audience interaction?
Reaction value and continued playability. I think is a big thing. Like Lethal Company, you can go into the same map even the whole time you're streaming it, and things will be different. There'll be different monsters. There'll be different treasures in different places and stuff like that. So I will say Doki's banned on Twitch now.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. We heard about that earlier.
I think that was the new wave of stuff like that. It's just the replayability and the difference. And then also you go into the things with like some of them you're playing with friends and stuff like that. So, that adds to you're going to get viewers and stuff that are going to join stream in the hopes of like playing with you. Yeah. That's another thing that brings people in.
Okay.
And also, it's like a preview too, because if I'm on the fence about a game and I'm like, I don't know if I'm playing or not, and I see somebody else playing, I'm like,
Exactly.
Let me say about the first, 15, 30 minutes. You know what? That looks cool. And sometimes I'm like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
That goes into being different too. It's like a viewer could see what I'm playing in Lethal Company, and then when they play it, it's going to be completely different.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but like what for me
goes with a lot of those.
One of the reasons why I kind of liked Freddy's was because one of the first people I saw play it was doing the lore behind it and was explaining the lore. Like while they were playing the game, they're like, okay, so here's like the history of it, and like they were kind of like going in, and I'm like, okay, as a lore whore, I'm loved. Like I want more, and so it makes you want to play it because you're like, oh. There's a story behind it. There's something else here, but I wouldn't know that unless I watch somebody play it.
It's like watching my niece when we watched the movie. She's like, that's wrong. Because they got that right. Yeah. But that part's wrong.
Which I think is funny because considering it is literally written by the guy who wrote the games.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. I was like, she's like, well, this is what is supposed to happen. And I'm like, but this is a movie. Right? Shit changes.
You can't have a 2-hour movie with it being just one person in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real.
I mean,
wait, no, never mind. I forgot about the Ryan Reynolds horror movie where he's buried.
Yeah, but I mean, there's one of the things that we've talked about a number of times is how actually we just talked about it about a previous episode, Shark Side of the Moon, where it was like. It would have been great had they only had like 1 or 2 sets instead of like the 20 billion that they tried to have.
But then you go into like how different do you want to make it that make people go play the game? It's like you want it somewhat different while exploring the lore part of it to have people go over and play. If it's the exact same, then it's a little different. Last of Us did it really beautifully, where it was the exact gameplay of Last of Us, almost like frame for frame. But
Yeah.
it's still just such a beautiful game that they wanted, people still wanted to go play it.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt that the Last of Us video game, the places that they were based off of real places.
Yeah.
So like that kind of made it a little bit easier to do that. But like when you know you're looking at a lot of these games and stuff, you know, when it comes to, you know, consumers being like, some of them are too scared to go buy a game, or they aren't sure if they want to spend the $80 on something, but then they watch somebody play, you know, 15, 20 minutes of it. But the beautiful thing about, I would say, 95% of games in the horror genre, no two players' experiences are going to be the same.
Yeah.
And no players' two runs are going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what you do, whether it be you pick up this thing, you don't pick up this thing, you kill this thing, you don't kill this thing, you open this door, you don't open this door, right?
Yeah.
No matter what you do, it might not change the outcome at the end, because, you know, it still might be, you know, whatever the big bad is, and you still might die, or you still might whatever, or maybe everybody survives, or whatever it may be, right? It's going to be a little bit different, right? That's the big thing when it comes to those games, is that they always do something just a little different each time.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be repo, and, you know, we're playing, and, you know, we do or don't pick up something, and then we don't have enough money, or, you know, we're playing Lethal Company, and, like, you know, each map and everything is different, or be Phasmophobia, where it's, you know, they've done significant updates on the game recently in the last, you know, several months and stuff, but before then, you know, it's going to be the same type of spirits, and it's going to be the same things that are hidden in the, you know, there's only so many places that things are, but still, no matter what, you're having a different experience every single time.
Especially when you add into the friend games too. Each friend group is going to play it. So not only are you going to have a different experience, you, like, everybody you're playing with is also going to be, like, wildly change that for you.
Actually, speaking about the co-op horror games, like Phasmo, like Lethal, you guys brought those up. When they make horror social, often doesn't matter what your group dynamic is, there's usually a comedic level to it. And we are firm believers here that comedy and horror are two sides of the same coin. How do you guys think, how does, like, playing the horror with your friends and on stream change the actual, like, fear factor portion? Because, like, a lot of these games center around the fact that you are by yourself doing this.
Yeah.
How many times can I kill Drake? Right?
Yeah.
That's my question. How many times can I kill him in whatever game it may be? How many times can I sacrifice his ass to go save myself? Right? But is he going to be scared the entire time because he knows how many times have I played, you know, repo with him, and it's at the end and he's picking my ass up and yeeting me off the thing, and now I'm screwed, right? But, like, and then, you know, you get both that comedy thing, right? Where, like, we're trying to kill each other, right? Because Peak is another one that wouldn't technically be considered a horror game, but they did add a level of horror to it, right? You have the Scoutmaster that you always have to be afraid of if it's going to happen or not, right? So you go too far away from your friend in a game that you think you're just climbing to the top of, right? And now you have this thing coming to kill you, and that's what it does, right? So now not only do you have to worry about how Peak has added in the ability to kick your friends off of the side of the cliff, but now you have to worry about something picking you up and yeeting you off this cliff, right?
And then you go into a haunted house, to bring back that analogy. Go through a haunted house by yourself is fun in itself. But if you go through with friends, then it adds that level of comedy. It's like, I'm getting scared also, but, like, I'm also laughing at my friends getting scared too. So it's like that. It brings find the endorphin level up.
I don't find horror house or, like, haunted houses dreadfully scary. Like, I go to Halloween Horror Nights, 9 times out of 10, I can tell you exactly where somebody's going to be popping out of, because I've been going to them for so long. I know where they're coming. Like, you just know.
I thought that until I went to Netherworld in Atlanta.
That's a great place.
God damn.
But
especially when they're coming out from the sky and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, right? But my friend Tina, who I usually go to Halloween Horror Nights with, love her to death. She doesn't pick up on those things. And I think part of it's my neurodivergence, because I'm like, oh, like, So like
Studying
subconsciously,
everybody.
I know. I just look around and I'm like, somebody's gonna come out of there, and there. Like I just know.
That's not neurodivergence. That's survival, baby. Lean into it.
Anyways.
What's the difference?
Same. Anyways, but she does not have that ability. And so especially if I'm walking behind her, I laugh so hard because it is so funny to watch her every 5, steps. As she's
So what
going
I'm hearing is
out.
we sacrifice her first.
Because it's so funny.
I think a lot of times too with the games with friends and in the horror realm adds that level, like a little bit of a safety net to where you're more risky.
Yeah.
That ends up making the game scarier for yourself.
Yeah, I'm more willing to go inside one of the things in Lethal Company if I have somebody else. I've played Phasmo by myself.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
It makes it makes you a little braver, but in that realm, you also get more scared playing the game.
Yeah. Karen, do you have any other insights before I jump to the next question?
No, not really. I mean, I don't really co-op games with friends. I do go to like haunted houses with friends, and I have sacrificed some of them to like, sections.
Okay, so Karen is not playing with us because I'm gonna get sacrificed.
I mean,
now I want to play with you.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm like, you want to go first? Okay, sacrifice yourself for me. I'll
throw you into demonologist. I'll watch you try to figure that out.
That was a fun one.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Like I don't have the fear of chainsaws anymore or the sound of chainsaws. I would actually run away and leave my friends behind. They're like, what the fuck? She sprinted fast. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're not keeping up with me, then you're going to die. Right?
Yep.
Or you can go first in that building. Okay, good. Then I hear you scream. Okay, I'm coming behind you. You got sacrificed. Sacrifice yourself for me.
So Bella and Drake, what horror games have actually gotten like the best audience reaction for you when you've been streaming them, and were there any that kind of surprised you with how hard they hit?
I guess I can answer this. My Quiet Place stream, I realized that like people could kill me, but it did really surprise me with a game where like streaming is you want to be talking a lot, you want to be engaging and stuff like that, but I was worried playing a game where arguably you have to be silent 90% of the time. I was worried that wouldn't hit as hard. Yeah. But the little added aspect of people being able to kill me whenever they wanted, essentially, really added to it. Like really changed it a lot for me. So that I was really surprised that one hit the hardest.
Okay. And was that something that like your community really enjoyed?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. It's if you can add that goes into the whole chaos stream thing. There's a crowd control. And adding levels to where like you can your viewers can even scare you, or whether it be in game or not. Yeah, I think it's a big increase if you want to be a horror game streamer.
Gotcha.
I would say that because I've played such a wide variety of them, the biggest hit with my community was when I played the Silent Hill 2 remake. That brought in a lot of opinions, and some good, some bad, and all in between. They've been begging for me to play Silent Hill F, and I'll get there when I get there.
There's one particular level in there that's gonna fuck you up.
Are you waiting for spooky season?
I could be. I could not be. We'll see.
Okay. At the time of this recording, that is literally just days away.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. Spooky season is year round. Okay.
Oh my God. Silent Hill F is 40% off right now. Ooh. Crazy.
Also,
that's a crazy discount.
Michaels have like
Drake,
Halloween stuff out now, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Drake, put your card away.
Yeah. It's code orange, people.
Excuse me?
Code orange.
So
not to be confused with the other code orange with
not that. Yeah.
There's a code orange in the World Cup.
There's a group of guys who wear, I think it was for the Dutch guys, the Dutch team. They wear like a lot of orange.
Yeah, something like that.
And now back for your regularly scheduled program.
So I would say the biggest hit with my community in the last, year or so was Silent Hill. Before that, they all loved me playing, Phasmo and Devour, Demonologist, Lethal Company, Repo.
Repo Man.
I thought you were gonna go Repola.
She could have gone either way, guys. She could have gone either way.
But like, I think I don't know. I play such a wide variety of them that I think that it's just, I don't know. It's kind of my backbone, right? Which is why I say I play everything from horror to Hogwarts, Legos to Destiny. Like I'll try any one of them once.
As a mod for you and a member of your community, we love when you get jump scares because you scream each and every time.
I have heard the same thing. So it's ultimately that's what it boils down to. Your fucking viewers are gonna want you to get scared.
Yeah.
And it's whether you play that up or not is up to you.
Oh,
or if you're an actual person. Like
believe it or not,
I do not.
I don't believe it or not. I'm really not.
I think there's been a couple of times you have.
In jump scares, I've cried at least 3 times.
I believe that.
I really like to the point where my neighbors have literally knocked on my door to make sure that they don't need to call 911 because they think that Camaro and I are beefing. Yeah. I literally had one guy. I was playing Visage and I had one of my neighbors. And this is why I don't play them at night anymore. It's why I only play them during the day because most of my neighbors are at work. But I literally had one of my neighbors come down the hallway and bang on the door. And I answered the door and he's like standing there ready to fight my husband because he thought that me and my husband were like fighting. And I was like,
terrifying in its own. Your neighbor's coming over to check on you in the middle of the night because you're screaming. Also kind of scary.
I mean,
are they there to help or are they there to take advantage?
Or are they there to help commit the crime? Nobody knows.
I mean, they could just be a cuck in waiting.
True.
But don't be a cuck in waiting. Let your cuck flag shine. Baby, let's go.
But yeah, no. I let it be known when I already know what's going to happen, whenever I talk a big game, but like, there's definitely like, these games scare the shit out of me.
So I have a question for you guys then. Do you think modern horror developers are actually designing their games now with streamers in mind?
100%.
Definitely.
Like, do you think from the start, or is it like as they're through the process, they're like, okay, let's think about this really quick. Should we add this? Should we not add this?
From the absolute start.
That depends on if it's an indie developer or a AAA developer. Okay. AAA developers are looking for their money. They don't give a fuck, right? I mean, they will. But when they're first developing, they don't give a fuck about nobody, nothing. They want their money, I agree. Right? Mm-hmm. But if it's an indie developer, they are 100% reaching out to these content creators. They're 100% watching your stream, watching your playback. How can I change this? How can I add this? What can I do better this time? What can I, whatever on this? I have that whole rant of me yelling and screaming at Connor, the developer for Project Songbird, and I handed it over to him, and he was like, I need to do that. Well, I'm like fucking screaming at him, like, fuck you, Connor. He was like, yeah, no, I needed that. And I was like, fuck you. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think 100% they are. It depends on when they start caring about the content creator is whether or not they're AAA or indie.
Okay, that's fair. That is absolutely fair.
You know how we were talking about how PlayStation and Xbox is getting rid of their digital media for movies?
Yeah.
So something just popped up on my news feed about PlayStation discontinuing physical game discs.
Yes.
They're listening.
Yeah. Well, yes, and yes.
To bring it back to horror.
Listening to you. Read this thing. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like,
oh my God. I wish a cool game company and stuff would send me new consoles and stuff, like, or games or anything. I wish I would get an ad to get free shit all the time.
Listen,
Right?
I've been trying to get you on.
I'm trying to manifest.
Manifest. He's
So,
manifesting his destiny.
right?
Yep.
Right? Although Destiny can't really manifest its destiny.
Oh my God. Fuck you, Bungie.
Fucking Marathon's already a dead game. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What happens when you try to revitalize a game that you put out 27 years ago?
I mean,
All right. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay. So horror gaming has definitely built like a subculture. There's like a community around all of this with streams and then with like fan communities and the content creation and everything. How do you guys think gaming has changed the broader culture conversation about horror as a genre and as a whole? Like, how do you think all that has impacted each other?
That's a fun question.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say kind of in the same similar fashion that like movies become cult classics and it changes how things go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got like the Kevin Smith movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where worship Kevin Smith anyway, but you have like some of them that did okay, right? When they first came out, they did okay, right? They weren't terrible, but they only did subpar, right? But then you have your cult classics that make the entire thing that just whoosh, right? Mm-hmm. That's how it is with gaming, right? Mm-hmm. You have these games that are when they come out, right? They're subpar. They're not terrible. There's way worse that are out there, right? But then you have this like group of this fan base of whatever, right? That make this game become a cult classic, you know?
I mean, look at the
same concept.
I mean, sometimes you have to let it percolate, man.
Percolate. Sometimes you need to.
Like the movie Clue.
I think the biggest impact that like horror games and stuff have like right now is that now AAA studios are having to look at these indie game developers and adapt their style to what's working for them. I mean, fucking Lethal Company sold what, 30 million copies, something like that,
something
at $5
like
a piece, which blows a lot of the AAA games out of the water, even their budget and stuff. So it's like they're having to maybe try harder or try not as hard or like charge less. It's put a lot of shake up in things.
Get their heads out of their asses.
Exactly.
Yeah, they got to strip it down to their basics.
You don't have what it takes. Like you're not the only thing here.
I mean, you're not the only person in the room. There's other people that could probably do it twice as better than you, but for cheaper.
It brought awareness to it.
Honestly, it's very comparable to how like Blumhouse and A24 have revolutionized the horror film genres. Yeah. Because you have these indie guys making in these smaller studios, making these really amazing films that are just knocking Warner Brothers out of the park.
Yeah, and then you got Obsessed being the number one movie of the year.
Yeah.
I mean,
with a $750,000 budget.
On that same aspect, Blumhouse also does games.
They do.
And it is still considered, even though they have some big name titles, it is still considered an indie developer. When we were at PAX, right? Now you have, when you come down to the PAX East floor, you obviously right in front, you're going to have your, couple of different, AAA. You had Ilphonic, you had Trolley there, which is the worm company, whatever. But and then you have, Nintendo there, right? You have Magic the Gathering there, right? But then right behind it, you have this huge Blumhouse booth. And walking over to it, they had 22 different games and demos.
Yep.
Wow.
Because they only produce indie development games.
Yeah.
They'll only produce indie. You want your game done? There's like 3 or 4 developers. That's it. Tops on your game.
Yeah.
You want your game underneath them? Yeah. That's the only way to do it.
Yep.
Like going back to like the whole development thing, it goes back to you don't have to have the fucking biggest stick in the room. Yeah. Sometimes that ends up just hurting.
Yeah.
Learn from the people that are like satisfying everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the, the length of the boats, the motion of the ocean.
Exactly.
Correct.
So, kind of to like continue that a little bit further, there's the critical respect that comes with the horror genre as a whole. I mean, Karen and I have talked about it, about like movies and literature, and how we're like, some of these movies and books are so much better than like all this other stuff that's not considered horror. Why is horror given almost like the stigma and doesn't get the critical acclaim that it should get? How do you guys feel about horror? Do you guys feel like they have the kind of like the same kind of stigma, or do you feel like they're kind of on the even?
For sure. They definitely get that same sort of stigma,
Mhm.
like you were saying, Blumhouse when it comes to movies and, they're all kind of the same,
Yeah.
so not to bring it back to PAX, but being at PAX, looking at Dread XP that's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted to play Paranormal Activity, right? I look for indie games. I look for indie developers. That's my bread and butter of life. Like, I could care less about what the AAA is doing. I want to play the indie, right? So I'm going there and I'm looking for what Dread XP has of their other things, not knowing that Brian is there, right? Not knowing that the man who created Mortuary Assistant is literally 5 feet from me, right? And I'm talking to the people from Dread XP, and I happen to mention, Mortuary Assistant, and they're like, Brian's right there. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
What?
I'm sorry, what
What?
did you just say now? Like, my weekend's totally going to be made. I'm going to meet Brian, and I'm going to see Matt Mercer in the same weekend. Yeah, right? And, like, literally, I stood there, and I talked to him, and I was like, I cannot thank you enough. A lot of the things that happens with some of these horror games, especially as a content creator, they get you through certain parts of your life, right?
Yeah.
Like Mortuary Assistant became really popular, and I started playing it at the same time that I was unfortunately cremating my father. So like that became like a really big thing for me to like get through having to go through all of that. I was playing that to kind of understand what was kind of going on. Like a lot of these games and these indie developers, right? Like they play such an important role in your life when you're going through something so much more. And the difference between them is like the difference between going to a mom and pop breakfast shop versus going to Denny's.
Yeah.
Your mom and pop waitress is going to ask you, how are you doing today? And actually look at you when they ask you.
I'm on a first name basis with my local cafe.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with indie developers when it comes to these things. They're going to actually ask you for your feedback. They're going to want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You're more than just a number.
Yeah.
We're talking about the stigma still, right?
Yep.
With horror games. Okay. I think it is still going to have the same stigma that the films do. It's like you're always going to have that group. It's like, oh, this is gross. Oh, I don't want to do that. Ew. You know, why would I want to be scared when like being scared's bad?
Scare me, Daddy.
That's initially the thought. Like I think with a lot of people when it goes to like playing horror games, period, and then you have to go past that and add a good story or add a good mechanic and stuff like that. So it's going to face that same stigma that films do, just to a higher degree, because you have to add that the person's actually going to be playing it and not just watching something on the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be stigma with horror anyways, because Drake said, people's like, oh my God, that's so gory. Why do you want to, scare yourself? Why can't you watch like romance or comedy or something?
Romance.
Something lighthearted.
I want my horror with my romance. Scare me, Daddy. Like, what the fuck?
But, at the end of the day, don't yuck on somebody's yum, man. Like, if I want to watch horror, okay, let me stay in my lane and you stay in your lane.
Yeah.
You go ahead and stigmatize my shit. I'm not going to stigmatize your shit because guess what? I'm not yucking on your yum.
I'm not going to yuck your yum. I'm probably judging you, but that's okay because I judge everybody. So that's not discrimination. It's equal opportunity. Everybody's getting judged. I'm not going to yuck it though. You do you.
I can question. I can sit there and
I can ask questions. I can clarify.
No, I agree with you guys. Like, I think one of the reasons why horror gets such a bad rap is because it is so dark and scary, and it makes people uncomfortable, and there is that taboo of it's not appropriate. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? That war movie that you like watching so damn very much wouldn't be as accurate as it currently is if it wasn't for horror doing the practical effects that it's been doing for years. Yep. So, excuse me if I think you should give horror as a whole more credit than what you do. And you should give it the same critical eye that you give time, period pieces and romance and comedy and action films and stuff like that. Because if it wasn't for a lot of the things that horror has done, you wouldn't have these other subgenres or genres as a whole. Some of the mechanics in horror games are the reason why you have non-horror games of these different actions. It's because they developed for the scare factor that they were not going to be able to develop with just, being a first-person shooter or, some of these other aspects. Mm-hmm. So I do think it should definitely get more credit.
Oh, for sure. There's no reason you should be okay, like not okay with your kid playing a horror game, but also okay with them playing Call of Duty.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you're okay with your kid playing GTA, you should be okay with your kid playing Phasmo.
Literally anything.
That's
if you're okay with your kid playing GTA, you're okay with your kid playing literally anything.
As many times I had to tell kids when I was working at GameStop, like, hey, I need your parents' permission to sell you this. And the parents, and I had to tell the parents, like, hey, this is what's going on in the game. Say, no, it's okay. That they could do it.
Okay.
Right, remember that.
Okay, remember that conversation that we have. And then you come in like an hour later or 2 hours later. I was like, did I tell you that?
I was at GameStop yesterday, and a guy who had to be in his mid to late 30s, like there was no fucking way that he wasn't. And he was buying Elden Ring.
Okay.
And they fucking required his ID. And he just kind of looked at me. He's like, I'll give it to you. He's like, and they're like, it's mature content. By law, for the cameras, we have to take your ID and look at your ID. He's like, I trust that you're over the age of 18, but I have to.
Yeah.
You got these kids playing fucking Roblox and fucking Minecraft on open fucking servers, but you're going to
but there's also like 16-year-olds who look like they're 35.
Correct. But you got these kids doing this shit and you're telling them that they can't go and play a fucking spooky game?
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. If you're going to, I honestly, I think playing Roblox is scarier than playing a spooky game.
I mean, that's Russian roulette with pedos. Before we wrap up, what older horror game do you think deserves a proper modern remake that hasn't gotten one yet?
Oh, Fatal Frame.
Ooh. That's hard.
Oh, yeah, Fatal Frame. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. You know what? Anything that European dude did, like House of the Dead, could have been so much better. So much better. The movie that came out like years ago. I think they should remake that and make it so much better. Okay. Stick to the story.
Yeah, I don't know. I would honestly say anything that is made from the mid 90s and before, because why not? And do it properly with what Unreal 5 can do.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think also a more controversial one, but Amnesia, I think would benefit highly as with like a modern graphics remake.
Mm-hmm. I think that
would go crazy.
Yeah.
I could see that. Okay. So we're going to give our final thoughts. Let's wrap it up with what is your favorite horror video game that you've ever played? On top of what do you hope for the future of horror video games, especially with the evolution of VR, AI-driven NPCs, and the increasing sophisticated technology that's coming along. Bella, do you want to start us off?
So I'm kind of like of the let it cook, let it be. Like, if it, I know generative AI is bad, and that goes across the board, movies and in games. I'm not saying that it's not, but like, I'd like to see what happens, to be honest. Right? So like, I'd like to see what the outcome is going to be, because I don't look at games as just like a horror game. I just look at games as a game.
Okay. Which one's your favorite?
My favorite, that depends. Okay.
That's fair.
Because I'm neurospicy. So like I have to have 5 different drinks. My favorite co-op would definitely be a tie between Phasmo and Repo. My favorite story would have to be the Silent Hill story. My favorite choice base would have to be the Dark Pictures anthology ones, or anything by that same studio, like Until Dawn. There's a couple of the Quarry, that's all by them. The choice base is really good. And I would have to say Visage would, because it's kind of what launched all of my streaming stuff solo. Visage definitely holds like a near and dear place in my heart.
Okay. That's fair.
But as far as like adding things into it, let it cook, let it be, see what happens before you make a judgment on it.
And any other final thoughts on horror video games as a whole for you?
Try it, because you never know.
Okay. That's a good response.
You don't know until you try.
That's fair. Drake the Snake, your turn.
Mine's definitely, like, if we're talking like friend horror game, definitely Demonologist.
Okay.
But overall, just like horror game, Last of Us like made a huge impression on me. It's not just like streaming, but like just a game as a whole.
Yeah.
With how they did the picture, and like sometimes you're fighting, sometimes you're not, and it just that survival aspect of it. It made a huge impression on me, as you can tell from the picture that I signed, that I went to great lengths to get. What I would want to see in the future is just like, I want to see studios start to try to do more immersive things. I would love to see more like VR horror stuff coming out.
Okay.
And try to dive into that realm, especially now that technology is getting like really good. I would love to see more VR horror stuff.
Okay. Ruby. Karen, how about you?
My favorite horror game, I mean, there's so many to choose from. But I have to say I have to stick with some Fatal Frame, because damn. Woo!
Yeah.
Can't play that in the dark anymore.
Yeah.
And Fatal Frame 2, I can't play that in the dark anymore. Just because I like horror. Huh?
Said that's fair.
Just because I like horror movies, I mean, some things you just can't do in the dark anymore. Just can't do it. And most of it's like some of the video games I can't do in the dark anymore, because I'm like, I have to sleep. Because between choosing to sleep or not to sleep, and I already have bad insomnia.
You and me both.
For my mental health, I'm gonna have not play some of these video games at night. But I think everyone should find a horror genre that you like and play the game. You know, because you have survivalists, you have action, you have horror romance.
It's out there.
It's out there.
Monster Prom.
Yep. It is out there.
I mean, it's out there. Just find it, and try it. And
you can find your Cthulhu date. It's all right.
I mean, yeah. I love me some Cthulhu. Some people don't like Cthulhu. I mean,
Listen, it's not my fault. I'm just going to get sacrificed to him. It's a problem.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, to save me, I will sacrifice you to Cthulhu.
You act like you would want her.
I mean, if somebody's going to be sacrificed to Cthulhu,
it's going to be me. I know this.
But for the future, I mean, give me some more, actions have consequences, immersive shit.
I like that.
I was like, have like 25 different endings, and this one leads to this ending, and this one leads to like your ass is going plop, 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 plop. Oh fuck! I didn't expect this ending. Play it again. Oh fuck! Got this ending. Just give me some endings. Or,
also more open world.
Oh yeah, more open world.
More open world. More.
But your open world leads to different endings because of what you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That'd be fun. I don't think I could do VR because I'm already really living in the real world, and the real world sucks enough.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's horrific enough. I don't want to be closed off like this being horrified about shit. No, I'm ready. I work a 9 to 5 job and I have to pay bills. Then I turn on the news and I'm like,
Oh, that's your problem. You turned on the news.
Yeah, the world's on fire.
I mean,
Pretty
I don't
bad.
turn on the
That's
news.
the
I
news.
go upstairs and the news is on because my sister-in-law like watching the news. And I'm like, what do you do now?
The news is the world's on fire. That's the same news every day.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we have a ceasefire with Iran and Israel. An hour later, they're firing at each other again. Y'all not know what ceasefire means.
The world's on fire.
No, they don't.
World's on fire. How about
But, you
yours?
know,
But
I'm happy
open
that-
world,
And never
more
get
options.
bored.
Yeah. But just to let you know, my little happy place is watching the Europeans come to America and trying our stuff for the first time.
Right? I
Shout
love
out
how they
Ranch.
fell in love with ranch.
Listen, they took over Providence because Boston was so crowded, and it's been an absolute fucking blast to have them all here.
Mhm.
All I gotta say, it's been literally an absolute blast to have.
I believe it. I believe it.
There's been one team that wasn't having such a grand time here.
Fuck
but-
England.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
They
okay?
were party poopers down here. We had them
Yeah,
in
they-
Tampa.
They
Fuck
They
them.
definitely were party poopers here too. They're not happy that Boston immediately. So when
Boston loved the Scots, and the Scots loved Boston.
so Boston loved the Scots so much that they changed their open liquor laws, because as it stands, you can't. I mean, unless it's like a patio of a bar, you can't have open alcohol in the streets. And they changed it to allow open alcohol.
That's not a thing in my city, baby. Shout out to it.
I was like, we have open container.
You can't have open containers in the streets in Boston. They do make exceptions for certain holidays and things like that, like St.
Yeah,
Patrick's Day and stuff and whatnot. But they
They did
reversed
not make
the
those
laws.
exceptions.
Yeah, they reversed the laws for the Scotland team to be here. But as soon as they left, and they left things open until 3 a.m., which usually things close at 2, and did for safety reasons.
Oh yeah, we're 3 a.m. /
Shout out.
4.
Shout out,
Yeah,
T.
it's safety reasons. I get it. Whatever. The clubs in Providence, they depending on what part of Providence you're in, they stagger the closing. So like midnight, 1, 2, 3, whatever it be. And they reversed all of that for England. England was not happy.
Yeah, but England's like, they didn't do a good job the last time they were there.
Yeah, it wasn't a good experience the last time we had you guys as visitors.
Shout out 1776.
Just saying. Last time we threw some tea in a harbor. We burned down some ships. This time we could throw you in the harbor. It's fine.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Yeah, happy 4th of July. So, as somebody who currently isn't able to play horror games, I think my favorite to watch is Mortuary Assistant.
Yeah.
I truly do like watching that one.
I have it in the range. I've been
part of
putting it
it-
off, dude.
Part of it is
you haven't
because
played it.
you guys need to do a stream together.
Yes. We will stream together side by side. You play it, I play it. We can't play it together, but you play it, I play it. I will hold your hand. I will open my backpack and carry you through.
Terrified.
He is not a gnome. Okay.
No, I am.
He's
I
a
am.
sweet little angel baby.
Because that happens to me a lot. Playing a gnome in D&D.
Listen,
Put my ass in the
I feel
backpack
like
because
I'm
I'm
a kobold
so
right
slow.
now.
But yeah,
Little bit.
Mortuary Assistant would be my favorite to watch. Part of it is because I like the whole biology aspect of everything. But then, like, on top of that, like, I like all the jump scares. I like
When you
all
get the
spooky
ability to
things.
play, what's the first one you're going to play then?
Mortuary.
Well, that makes sense. I guess. Okay. I didn't realize it'd be the same answer.
Oh, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I totally want to get Lethal Company. I totally want to get Repo.
I
wanna
have
do-
feeling
I wanna
that
do a
one
lot of
day
those
It's going to
co-op
be like
ones.
a 4-way stream. Everyone playing one game. See how far
Oh,
we
yeah.
all get. To see
Oh,
if we get
yeah.
scared first. Like, shit.
Play some Phasma with us.
Yeah. I'll play Phasma with
Or
you.
Demonologist.
Or
Yeah.
Demonologist. What I hope for the for the future of horror video games is that they continue making good stories.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the ones that seem to resonate with people and seem to continue to have people wanting to come back to them are the ones that have good stories. And not just like good lore, but like when you play the game, you're sucked in. You want to see how the story ends. And I just hope that they remember that and they keep that as the focus and integrate the technology that needs to be there for them to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
That's why I said, let it cook. Let it cook. Let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Like just
Speculation.
let it be, you know?
Well, that has
Let
been...
it go. Let it go.
And one with the wind and sky.
That has been our history of horror video games with Drake and Bella. But it is now time for my favorite part of the show, because these are both brand new guests for us, is the electric chair. So,
Shock me, daddy.
so just first of all, it's mommy. Second of all, Karen and I have both been in the chair. We've survived. So I believe that you guys can as well. So we're going to strap you in. Do. All right. Question number 1. Who is your favorite horror villain? Drakey Poo, you get to go first.
Oh God, my favorite, like games.
Just your
overall?
favorite horror villain in all. Yeah.
I like Michael Myers a lot.
Okay.
All right, stalker.
That was not part of the question.
Bella, who is your favorite horror villain?
From movies, it would definitely be Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
From games, it's myself.
Okay.
Because you are the villain in a lot of
You
things.
are the
Yeah. And you kill everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, myself.
Yeah. All right. Here, I would like to know, what is your horror hot take? So your unpopular opinion when it comes to horror. Bella, you get to go to first this time.
What's horror to me doesn't necessarily mean it's horror to you.
Okay.
And deal with it. A lot of people don't like that. I'm just like, deal with it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Drake?
gory doesn't equal good.
That is so true.
That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Fuck, marry, kill. Previously known as kiss, marry, kill, because we were trying to be a little like kosher about it, but no, we're
Fuck it.
Nah, I'm fucking bitches.
fuck, marry, kill. But this is going to be horror video game edition.
Mm-hmm.
So your choices are Pyramid Head, Leon Kennedy, and of course the great giant mistress herself, Lady D.
No fucking way, dude.
All right. This
I know
counts. This counts for my hot take as well. So go ahead and let me drink.
Yeah, that's fair.
Drake, you get to go first.
Fuck Lady D.
Okay.
Marry Leon. Kill Pyramid Head.
Okay. We see where you stand on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a
Bella?
strong man in my life.
All right. So I'm going to fuck Lady D. All right. One time. It's all good.
Yeah.
I am marrying Pyramid Head because I can fuck him every night. And I'm killing Leon. Sorry.
Wow.
I don't need you when I have Pyramid Daddy to choke me out.
Well, that escalated very quickly.
I told you it was going to be controversial as well.
I'm just gonna.
There's a reason while you were playing that game, I was going, Pyramid Daddy, all the time.
I saw somebody dressed up as him at PAX East, and he was like, "Do you want me to choke you?" And I was like, "Yes."
Dude, there's at least one.
At
if not
MomoCon,
more,
I saw a Beetlejuice
Dragon.
Pyramid Head, and I swooned a little bit.
Yeah,
that's fair. That is fair. All right, so the last question: which two fictional characters, any genre, would you choose to help you survive a horror film? Bella, you get to go first.
Ellie and Abby.
Okay.
Two badass bitches, Ellie and Abby.
You want my funny answer or my actual answer?
Give me both.
Okay. Gardevoir and Lopunny.
Okay.
Real answer. Let's go Batman and Goku.
Okay. Rock on.
Batman for the planning and like whatever we need, and then Goku for the pure strength.
Yeah.
And then he'll go off for like a year, leaving y'all to fend for yourselves while he trains. You're like, motherfucker.
As long as he comes out strong. I still have Batman there.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll probably pick Piccolo though. Piccolo's like been a great father figure.
What? None of us know what that is. What's a good father figure?
I've got a good father figure, and my dad is awesome.
My dad's awesome. My dad was awesome.
Damn.
We had good father figures here on
Drake and I
Station
have
Boo.
the trauma daddy. Okay, all right, that's what we have.
My
Sorry.
dad was good, and then I had to, then he died, and I had to cremate him.
So a
And my mom took
really good way to like work through that process is to play a game called Mortuary Assistant, where you cremate people.
But they're demons, so I don't know how that's gonna.
Some of them are.
No,
There's
not all
only
of them
one
are.
out of 3 is.
That's if
But,
you're bad at the game.
And then my mom
Like
took his
Bella-
ashes
like
away
Bella.
with her, and I'm like, I want my dad back. And I want my mom back.
Yeah.
My mama left me.
Have you tried
Have I tried what?
to bring your dad back?
I mean, if I was a necromancer, yes, I would try. And I was yell at him for like, why did you die in the first place?
You don't have
Why
to.
did you
There's-
tell me you were sick?
There's
Where's
Etsy
your
spells.
will?
There's Etsy witch spells on there. Just order one of those.
Yeah, we
And
live
just-
in the day and age of instant gratification.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I would trust Etsy witches to like help me bring my dad
Right?
back.
I wouldn't either.
Or
but it's an
TikTok witches
option.
at that.
I'm just going to throw options out there, Karen.
I mean, I'll probably go to New Orleans
Exactly. Go to New Orleans.
and be like, hey, if you can't bring my dad back, let me talk to the spirit so we have like,
Yeah.
a conversation.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Go to New Orleans. Get the good guys. Congratulations, Bella and Drake. You guys survived the electric chair.
Ooh, barely.
No, you were good. You
First,
were
you didn't do
good.
the questions with the like dinner one. That was my favorite one.
That's a good one, but
Do it.
I know
Shoot it.
how.
Shoot it off.
I
Do
okay.
it. No, ask it.
Rip it.
All right.
Rip it.
But not far.
You have a table. There are 6 seats.
Uh-huh.
It's a dinner party. Pick 6 horror icons to sit at that table.
All right.
I usually like to give people time to figure out what they would put on the
Nah.
table.
Nah,
And
fuck
this
it.
could be fictional characters, it could be creators, just they have to be involved in horror for them
I
to be
want
able to
Hannibal
sit
Lecter.
there. Okay.
I want the Joker.
Okay.
Batman. We can argue he's horror.
He's a villain. I'll
He's
take
a
it.
villain.
Okay. I want. Oh God, you're right. I want Jason to sit at the other side of me and just stare at me the whole time.
Okay.
We'll throw Michael in there too,
Okay.
like right beside him.
have
But
to-
I want him only to stare at Jason. So that I'm gonna stare at Michael the whole time. Michael's gonna stare at Jason. Jason's gonna stare at me, and it's gonna be like a awkward,
weird
like,
love
triangle like situation.
I knew where this was going. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got 2 more.
Okay, then we're gonna do Mini-Me from Austin Powers.
How's he horror?
I wouldn't put him as horror.
He's a villain.
He's not really
All right,
villainy.
fine. Okay. Then in Resident Evil 9, what's the doctor's name? The new one?
The one that was like stroking Leon's face so
Yeah.
lovingly.
Yeah, that one. I want him sitting directly next to me.
Okay.
So you can stroke your hand lovingly,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I need comfort when I'm eating, Karen.
Okay. And your last one. The last one at your table.
Oh, Pennywise. We need comedy.
Okay.
So I want Pennywise sitting directly next to the Joker, and I want to see them like comedy
This is-
battle
this is-
battle it
I
out.
kid you not. This is like the most fucked up table that we've had thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it.
I want me at the edge of the table, Hannibal Lecter to my right,
Okay.
the guy from Resident Evil 9
Okay.
my left, then Joker, Pennywise, Jason across from me on the other side of the table,
Mhm.
staring at me, and then Michael to Jason's left.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Bella, it is your turn.
So, the only particular order that I'd want them to be in is Stu and Billy. They have to be next to me because
Okay.
I want to be sandwiched. All right. And then they count as villains, Ellie and Abby, because they both are problems.
Okay.
And then
Arguable. That's not he. I mean, all right. Never mind.
have you
Yeah.
not seen the golf club scene of Ellie beating
I'm
the
not arguing
shit
that
out of somebody
Abby's a
else?
villain.
Or the fact that
Why
Ellie
is Ellie
is
a villain?
Ellie is a villain when she stabs a pregnant woman to death.
What the pregnant woman do?
Breathed, had a friend who killed Joel,
Exactly.
Okay. Friend killed Joel. That kind of
but the pregnant woman wasn't the villain.
I don't know. I've been
They're in
stabbing
a, they're
everybody
in
who
a
kills
horror.
Joel.
They're
She
in
chose
horror,
to be
so
there.
we're good. We're good.
She chose
Your
to be
last
there.
two. Your last
My
two.
last two, they are Dolores and the guy. He doesn't actually have a name. I just tried to look up what his name is. It's Rakin is what they list him as, but he is the guy who looks like my husband in Visage. Dolores is the old woman in Visage who like has a thing for sacrificing babies.
Kind of like in The Witch.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Ellie and Dolores have something in common.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I'll be like sacrificing everybody
They
who
got
kills
something
Joel.
to talk about. They got something to
Right.
talk about.
Topic.
Abby, she can toss me around just as much as the guy that looks like my husband can toss me around. That's fine. I wouldn't mind being sandwiched between them, and I really get a sandwich between me and Stu and Billy. That needs to be a thing. That'll be the face that I'll be making.
My table
We all
spot,
would.
actually.
We all would. We all would.
Oh yeah, no, there's a system.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you all so much for joining us and geeking out. And a massive thank you to Bella Rose and Drake the Snake for bringing your expertise and your fun stories to the show. Horror video games prove that sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that we choose to walk into ourselves. And we have the best listeners / horrorholics in the horror game. And we are so grateful for each and every single one of you guys. We cannot thank you enough for how much you guys have helped us by supporting the show. Every like, every share means the world to us. We cannot express how much we love and appreciate your support. You guys are the best horrorholics. But where can they find you guys? Bella, where can they find you?
Can be found at Bella Rose 0810 on all platforms because Twitch won't let me get rid of my numbers, but on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitch, all of them, TikTok. I'm all listed as Bella Rose 080.
All right. Do you have anything fun coming up that our fellow horrorholics should know about?
We are on this 5-part series of the Dark Anthology series, third-ish part of the series. We are working our way up to the new one that just came out recently, Directive 8020. And then after that, I don't know. We're just kind of playing it by ear, doing some disability Pride Awareness Month stuff for Disability Awareness Month. And for Women's Month, we'll be doing a little bit of that stuff. But that's pretty much kind of it.
Rock on. And Drake the Snake, where can they find you? What do you have going on?
I mean, you just said it. It's Drake the _ Snake. It's very important for most of them. But if you search Drake the Snake, I normally come up on all the platforms. I do funny videos sometimes. I've been working with my short form stuff. Been a lot of fun editing things. What do I have coming up besides mortuary assistant with Miss Bella over here? And do that. I just wish listed Project Songbird and Visage, which I haven't played also. So we're getting in spooky season, so we're gonna go explore some horror games that I haven't played personally. And then I'm also currently in a Witcher 3 playthrough.
Rock on.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
For a first play. I've never played it before, so it's a first playthrough.
Do you have any cons or anything like that you're going to that you want people to come find you at?
Yeah, come see me at DragonCon and TwitchCon, bitches. I'll be there. Hit me up. I would love to meet anybody that would come through. Come see me hanging out at the food court or somewhere around there.
Just come see us at the West End, baby.
I'll be at DragonCon and TwitchCon for sure. I don't know about any other smaller cons. Yeah, I don't have any other cons lately. I was just at MomoCon and stuff, but yeah, I'm at cons all the time in the Southeast area. So if you ever
and he's gonna do,
and you want to meet me, just fucking let me know.
And he's gonna do PAX East 2027.
I am doing PAX East 2027 also.
We're all trying to get up to PAX East. Well, I mean, I'll be at PAX East 2027. We're trying to get him to PAX East 2027.
Yeah.
And T to PAX East 2027. Karen, you should come to PAX East 2027.
Yeah, let's all go.
Oh, bring my baby.
It might be fun. It might be fun. Karen, where can they find you and what do you have going on?
They can find me everywhere. And no, just kidding. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Thread, X, formerly known as Twitter, because I can't quit Twitter because I've been there since they first started. Reddit and TikTok, and I'll be doing Dragon Con this year. I always do it every year.
Yep.
I'm a moderator for at least 3 or 4 panels that I know of. And I'm also a panelist for, I think 2 panels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am Spill Tea or Tea. You can find me on all the things at Spill Tea Wine Media Mind. I will also be at Dragon Con moderating a few panels. We do have our live show.
You could also find T and Karen at your mom's house.
Okay. So yeah, you can find me there. That's all the fun things that we have going on. But our fellow horrorholics, what was the first horror game that you truly got scared by? Come. We want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments, slide into our DMs, email us at earthstationboo@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, share, and like. It actually helps the fellow horrorholics find us. So if you haven't already, please do that. Come and join the conversation in our Discord. Find all of our links at our link tree. And don't sleep on our merch store. We got some cute stuff in there. And new episodes out every week. Hopefully we can get our Sunday night movie nights going. And most of all, stay weird, stay spooky, our fellow horrorholics. That's a wrap for Earth Station Boo. Thanks for listening. Follow, share, and find all our links in our link tree. Until next time, stay spooky.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.